Hello and welcome, Brady Chris. Happy Fan Fest 2023 London. Hopefully, you guys are doing well. If you guys are joining us for the first time, thanks for being here. If you're coming back after a while, thank you so much, and hopefully you're doing well. Chris is on site somewhere in the world, getting ready to give a best.
I just split the distance. I was like, I can't get to Europe, so I just came to the East Coast.
There you go.
That way, I'm closer. Less ping.
Less ping. Much closer to EU than I am at the moment. But today we're going to be live reacting. We have roughly about an hour before this kicks off for the keynote, which we should get one new job reveal. And the question is are they going to go with the mage, or are they going to go with the physical melee? Like any guesses up in the air, I guess, for clip's sake in and of itself. Chris, what do you say? Do you think we're going to see the mage today, or we're going to see what I just call the Corsair, for lack of a better name yet, for the melee?
I think the scouting one is more surprising, so I think you save that one second. So I think you reveal the mage today. I think that's the right call.
Yeah.
That way we're still speculating at. But I want to see the Corsair.
Yeah, I want to see the mage. So I'm in camp. Show me the mage. I don't care if it's a Pictomancer, if it's a time mage, if it's a green mage. Show me the mage.
It's just a blackest mage. We've had black mages, and it's just an even darker mage.
Blacker mage.
Just those thaumaturges are so light and fluffy. We're here to do the real magic.
Yeah. Oh, you have fire? How about
even darker?
It's like we haven't. Let's get that spell. It's like, oh, you didn't. How did you win the Savage race so fast? We just brought a bunch of darker mages.
Even darker mages.
Even darker mages.
Yeah,
absolutely.
What I appreciate about Shadowbringers and Stormblood and is like, it's like, well, they don't mind using the same initials more than once.
Yeah,
we would just have another B, just anything with a B. So any mage suggestion, I'd like it to start with a B. Baloney mage, just anything that makes us go, what are we going to call that?
Come on, guys, let's go. So what's interesting, because there's a lot that we haven't really got a chance to catch up on, just because of our schedules have been so absolutely busy. But yesterday, Twitch announced we can simulcast to wherever. Which the funny thing is we were doing that anyway. We're just like, all right, we're not big enough that like anybody's going to care. But now Twitch has come out and said,
at first it was like
we thought about it.
So like one would broadcast one would broadcast the other. So it was
right.
It's fine.
Yeah, we had like, it's like we're coming from two different sources. It's not like you're going multiple places and I'm going multiple places.
Yeah, you can tell, because a lot of times, like, depending on how the settings were set up, on one platform you were on the right, and on the other platform I was on the right. Why is there a layout change?
So they announced that yesterday. So we, in this case, are also everywhere right now. So if you guys are interested, you can check us out over on Twitch.
Surprising you on your Samsung fridge,
or on YouTube, or on your Samsung fridge. Like the Chris shuffle in the morning. I think that was essentially kind of huge. And then as I was looking over on X this morning before hit and go live, I was actually doing a couple things. I'm always worried about sleeping in on these days and waking up and be like, oh no, it's 4 o'clock. And I said the stream was going live at 3 o'clock. So I had the alarm set at 2 o'clock and at 2:30 and, staggering in. So I actually woke up without any problems because kids decided to all like migrate from their beds into my bed. And so it was around 1 o'clock, I was like, this is uncomfortable. All right, I'm awake. So I've been playing a little bit of the Super Mario Wonder this morning. And if you're at all ever a fan of Super Mario World, Super Mario Wonder, I think, is an absolute must play game. It literally, like, I'm the whole time playing with the kids, like, it feels like, oh, they've taken Super Mario World, which I hold as like probably the best 2D Mario game, and then they're like, hey, this is it feels more like a sequel to some of what they've had there. So I've been really absolutely enjoying that. So I just was like, well, I want to share my love of that game because I'm a consummate Mario fan. But also checking what was trending is Sniper Wolf received a temporary monetization for doxing. And that's just been something that I've been watching it kind of unfold and just going like, oh my goodness, just absolutely insane. So lots of things happening in the world of gaming and YouTube and Twitch this morning.
Reactions to reactions are fine, as long as they're not literally in front of the person's house. Like if we were ever wondering where the line was, it's the real life person's house.
Yeah.
That's the line. That's the line. And they're going to take away your ad revenue, which they're also now blocking ad blockers. And people are like, well, that really bothers me because I was consuming your service and never supporting it. And that's like that whole argument of like, well, I've been coming to your establishment and not paying you for years.
Right.
Am I supposed to thank you for that? Like, I understand why ad blockers exist. I've been getting into like my fitness journey, I've been reading more blogs than I have in the past, because blogs are just a really great source of, it's where people put a lot of these like spreadsheets on their different training plans and all that. And I got on this one blog the other day where, I kid you not, like the amount of visible text on the space was like the size of this little nut here. like there were ads coming in from the top, and like it was like they didn't design it for mobile, so there were ads from the bottom, ads from the top, and when you scrolled, they scrolled, so you were already operating on like this like half-inch band, and then one came in from the side, and it's like I was reading like 6 words at a time, and I was like, I can't even get to the information. Like I can't. And so I downloaded my first ad blocker, and when you go to some sites, they say, hey, we can see you're using ad blocker. You're welcome to continue without supporting us, but we just want you to know. And I'm like, oh, because I really just turned it on for the one. And I get it. But the idea that the argument is like, well, I've been not paying you for years, and so now I'm going to not use you. And it's like, that's weird. Like I go to the same coffee shop every morning, and I take 2 cups and I fill it with beverages that I don't pay for. And then I take their silverware for the day. And if they start charging me for that, I'm going to stop going in and taking all their stuff. Like, I don't like, what is the argument here?
What's
like,
really
never gave them money.
I want to come to Riggy, his comment, and then Zoela's asking a question in chat. I want to come to them in just a second, but it's interesting to see how far we've come within this content creation space in like the span of like 6 months to a year, because Twitch is now embracing Twitch Turbo. That's that. Okay, yes, you can enjoy Twitch ad-free across all channels. It is the same in parity
to a revenue model that exists outside of ads, right? Like there is another revenue model where it's like, oh, well, I support all these creators with subs, and then I use ad blockers or whatever. Like that is a different, as opposed to YouTube, the vast majority of income that people are making off YouTube is ads.
And YouTube like was just basically letting Twitch kind of die on the vine. Like Twitch is just throwing ads in people's faces. YouTube meanwhile is like, we don't have ads. But now like the updates that have been rolling out on YouTube, we started to see that actually pretty quietly. It's like, oh, they're gonna just start throwing ads at you. I'm hearing ads will be coming into the chats. They're testing out a theory of like actually having like an ad pop up in the live chat, and they have their new ads automator that they've been putting out. And it's interesting because I see it on a couple of our channels, and then I see it like on Ginger Prime. Like there's no, like I don't have that feature yet, so I'm always just kind of curious how YouTube decides to roll out features. But we got somebody to thank. So whether you have and you support us over on Twitch, you get ads free over there with that Prime sub, or if you have Twitch Turbo, if you consume a lot of Twitch, I think Twitch Turbo is probably the best service to use in that case. But Riz IV for a resub for a tier 1, been subscribed for 11 months. Thank you so much for being over there and for that support, and hopefully you enjoy your emotes, your ad-free viewing, your special role in Discord, and so much more. Now Ricky asks, hey guys, I lost track of time playing New World, or doesn't ask anything. Didn't even realize EU Fan Fest was already here. I'm glad you're enjoying New World. I think it's fun that in Dawn Trail we're going to the New World. Like that pleases me endlessly. And Zoila asks, 15 minutes playing Spider-Man 2 and lost track of time. Your time frame is absolutely correct, here in about or less than 50 minutes of the time of this mark. We should be seeing Yoshi P step on stage. I've got their Twitch stream up. It's not up yet, so I'll just be kind of monitoring that, and when that happens, we'll toss it in like we normally do and go from there. So cool. Thanks guys so much for being a part of this, and hopefully you guys, wherever you are, are having fun. I saw Chili got a picture with Yoshi P. He's out there at the EU Fan Fest. We've seen several creators make their way to EU. Man, woo!
Cool.
I can't think of that, like making those kind of trips right now.
I am here in Virginia for a wedding. I was out at the family dinner last night. Rehearsal dinners tomorrow. Wedding's on Sunday.
Nice.
So, but believe it or not, they did not have any plans for me to be at 4 a.m. So this time slot was wide open.
I was like, I got no. Well, that's the thing, because I was like, okay, because I asked on Twitter, I was like, I think it's coming up, and then Chili was like, yeah, it's Saturday, and I was like, oh, okay. And then I'm like, I have so it's 3 a.m, but around 6, 7 o'clock, I got to get the boys up because we got T-ball today, and then after that we've got there's a school fair that we're gonna go to, and then I'm supposed to be volunteering at, and that's gonna wrap up probably around 3 or 4 this afternoon. And it's like, and then Julie wants to go to mass, and I'm really like, man, maybe we'll just go on Sunday because I'm anticipating.
Yeah, I'm going around
kind of worn out. Nice. So he's up for the wedding in Virginia as well?
Yeah, so when the two of us lived together, we had 2 roommates, one that came with the house and was just a weirdo. We just moved in and he was just there. Nice enough guy, but kind of weird. And like we didn't know him really. And then the other one who is getting married here. So
that's awesome.
We're here to see those 3 amigos he came to Dallas and kind of announced that he was engaged and stuff, told us in person, and now we're out here. So we really don't, the 3 of us don't usually get together that often.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what happens. Like, yeah. me and my friends were trying to get together in September in Tulsa, just for like, hey, it's been a couple of years since we were all together. Let's like come up, hang out for the weekend or whatever. And unfortunately, like one of my other friends, like during that time, one of my other friends' dad had a massive stroke, and so it's like, okay, we're gonna postpone. But then that in and of itself is like, oh man, like we got to make moments. We got to make an effort, to spend time together.
What's been fun about it is like, you have these different friends from these different segments of your life. And so last night, all the groomsmen, like we went out for dinner and like breakfast yesterday morning. And like I'm meeting the people from the other chapters of his life. Like I've always heard stories about them, but like I've never spent any time with like his high school friend. And so then one of the other friends was there and they're like, but you guys all know each other. And I'm like, no, I just met him. They're like, no, like you guys are hanging out all day. And I'm like, yeah, I just met him. Like we're both Texans. So like we immediately bonded, but like, no, I've never met him before.
As all Texans do. We're like, oh, it's instant. Oh, you're Texas? Oh, instant friend.
I would shoot guns with this guy.
Dickie asks, when is the Xbox beta? And this is essentially like a really good question, because when we start to talk about the patch series, I would expect it anytime after 6.5.5, which I think you said is targeted for January. I would think that the beta is going to happen. So either I don't know if it drops on 6.5.5 or like a 6.5.6 or something like that, where they're like, hey, 6.5.5 is this, Xbox beta kicks off. They'll announce it, so we'll have that, but it won't be this year.
I think you don't drop it on a patch day. I think it's its own standalone day.
That's the better play in my opinion, just because that's just a lot. It's just a lot.
6.5.8 will probably be 2 weeks after 6.5.5, and that'll unlock the final Savage tier.
Yeah.
In my mind, you drop it as like a 6.5.9, like a week after that. That'd be what I would drop it 3 weeks after 6.5.5.
And then along that same kind of line, like then, I mean, I would think also you would look at releasing the Xbox version sometime in March or April. But I would, if they do that, if they release the Xbox version, before Dawn Trail, I would hope that they'll release it as a buy this. You actually have Dawn Trail, but you can start playing today. Like you can just buy it, and because otherwise it might be weird to be like, hey, buy the complete edition, and here's the expansion. I think it's
you can also put the complete edition in like Game Pass as like a temporary access.
That's true.
and then after that they have to buy it, and then maybe like if they buy it while it's on Game Pass, they can get like a discounted rate or something. So there are some mechanisms that they could try to like roll it out, but I think it'll be like the PS5 version, where it'll be like an unofficial version on launch, like you said, and then it will like officially launch. Like the PS5 version was unofficial and like it was totally stable long before it rolled over.
Right. The chat's asking, what are your predictions for this upcoming keynote?
I think female lions and a mage.
Oh, you're gonna side with me on the mage prediction?
I think the scouting comes in the second one.
Okay.
I think the scouting is in JP because I think because that leaves them something to tease about it, because they said it's scouting, right? So maybe they like, I don't know, reveal the weapon kind of, but like in like a way that makes us go, what is that?
What is that? A gun and a sword?
Yeah. So
yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I feel like we're gonna get the mage today. My personal hope is time mage, but I
do you think we get the female lion?
Oh yeah. I don't. That'd be
Today?
like. I think it's confirmed, and maybe as some screenshots, and then in Japanese in the JP Fan Fest, you have actual like footage of them running around, animations and stuff, because we already know it's happening, so it's not like a big mystery as before, where it was like, oh, they actually did go with male Vieira, like that is breaking from kind of the the standard tradition, but
yeah.
So I think that like if I was like, these aren't really like what I'm about to say is not really predictions, but what the heart wants, what it wants. Like, I'd love to see them add in another, announce another limited job. Like, I'd love to see them sit here and say, whether it was Beastmaster or Puppet Master, I would love to see something added to that system, just so that it isn't just Blue Mage. Like,
otherwise it feels like Chocobo Companion, where it's just a partial thought that never really matured into anything beyond that.
Right. And then, and then you like max it out, and so it's like with somebody with a rank 20 Chocobo, it's like, yeah, it'd be cool if, and that's just kind of where
I'll never need another onion. It's done.
So I had level 65 in New World, and like the leveling experience is great, but then immediately it's like I need player aptitude levels. I love gaining experience. It feels good to see that bar get filled up, and then it just ends. And that's the same thing with like, I was like, just make it completely like pointless experience, but I'm addicted to just seeing those numbers move, and I get a lot of joy out of that. And so that's where it's like, with Joker, like just endless leveling that you can choose to use. Congrats, you have a rank 1000 Chocobo. Wow, tell me about that. It doesn't give you anything outside of maybe some new dyes or new colors or like glamour things that don't have a big impact on the overall game, but it'll be interesting. The downside, or what was going to be curious, especially as it relates to Beast Master and Puppet Master, is that we know that we've seen this game move further and further away from like pet classes, and it'd be interesting, like, would they stick with the just the ease of access to managing a pet class in 14 with the new limited job, or would we see that limited job actually like bring in more pet class complexity that the game currently is lacking? So in the long run, we'll have to wait and see on this case. But I predict when it comes to the state of the keynote, we're going to get a summary of what they've already kind of announced, and then they're going to dive into whatever job they pick, and assuming it's the mage, we'll see some gameplay. We'll obviously get the name, they'll get the gameplay, the skills, then he'll break it down, and then he'll show the gameplay of the skills again. So it's I think that's going to be interesting to see. So I'm personally hoping for mage. I think that's something that speaks a lot to me in this case. Let's see here. Wargiver says, which will be bigger on Xbox given the player base, Final Fantasy 14 or World of Warcraft? And that's something else that finally closed that we haven't had a chance to sit down. Microsoft now owns Activision Blizzard. Microsoft is now the proud owner of World of Warcraft. Are we going to see it come to the Xbox?
We will.
Yeah.
I think it's two different things. I think WoW is the biggest MMO of all time. And so like it will have an ability. It has an ability to convert new players that have never before MMO'd.
Yeah.
in a way that no other game quite can. And so that will be the advantage of just bringing people into a whole new vertical. However, like ESO is successful on the Xbox. And so like when I say like there's a whole new growth vertical for Final Fantasy, there's people that point out that like, well, Final Fantasy has previously, you know, as a franchise and even as an MMO, like they've had 11 and stuff could run on an Xbox, right?
Yeah.
So like people have said, well, it's not the first time. It's like, yes, but those hungry people didn't necessarily go out and buy a PC when it wasn't available anymore. A lot of them went to ESO. And so there is a Final Fantasy fan base in ESO right now who will be just, I mean, that's the flip of a switch. And so they are already MMO players. And so like I think as far as like, will we feel like a bigger impact, like a bigger like in the Savage race, like how many people are on Xbox? I think that's probably larger, but total player growth, wow, always blows the doors off. No matter how big the day is for 14, we're always cheering. And then somebody in the crowd is like, and this makes us the greatest game and biggest game ever. It's like, no, just leave it at we're excited. Because the moment they start trying to put numbers on it, WoW is just that big. Like WoW's worst day is still just leaps and bounds beyond most of the other people in the space. Most of the other people in the space combined. Like WoW is just so big. It's the one thing they do really, really well. Like there's a lot about WoW I would change, but like they're big.
Yeah, I do think it's going to be coming to consoles, and I hope both consoles. I hope that Microsoft is like, yeah, we're going to put this on Xbox and on, assuming that PlayStation's, fine with cross, like that, who knows what the business dealings of it is, but it's like we're going to bring it. But the question I always kind of bounce around is that we've seen them continue to add in more controller support options, especially with the latest version of it. And then as we look towards is it 11.0, which is next, the next expansion, like there's been a lot of, I think, work that's been going on behind the scenes. So is that 11.0 like almost in a way like WoW 3, where you would say classic is WoW 1, retail currently is WoW 2, and then maybe 11.0 is like WoW 3, where they've like really fundamentally like, overhauled a lot of the systems and things like that, where it ends up kind of looking like a new era, and consoles would make that era feel like a natural starting point where it's like, this wasn't here before, it is now. We went through and we did a lot of this work so that people can step into it. Or do you just say, hey, and now we're going to do, hey, an actual WoW 2, which is built off of 23 technology forward. That's just an insane amount of work, and trying to get people to
like
cut over
and back on because you're going to fade it into the sunset. The changes they're making at like a creative level and the changes they're making at a technological level over the last several generations, they've been implementing the frameworks that will make it come to console. There will be people that go, and then they went to Microsoft and it suddenly was on console. It's like, no.
I think it was moving there.
Expansions ago, they added the ability to play on controller if you use chat like commands. So it was kind of like a hidden feature. This last expansion, it's directly available. And this is all prior to the Microsoft acquisition. Now, that does not mean that knowing Microsoft was a possible acquisition, that they were not like, hey, we've been thinking about this for a while, we should probably just go ahead and do it. But it definitely was prior to Microsoft taking ownership.
Neff with a tier 1 resub over at Twitch for 25 months saying, good evening, morning, fan fest. Thank you, Neff, for that incredible support and for being with us for so long. Appreciate you. I hope that if it does come to Xbox, that it comes to PlayStation, because we finally, after especially 10 years, are getting Final Fantasy 14 on Xbox. It's like, just especially as a multiplayer game, like it's a multiplayer game. Let's put these games absolutely everywhere. Now, regarding the player base size, because that's kind of the real question that they're bringing. Obviously, we're all assuming WoW on Xbox just based off of what evidence there currently exists, but it might be a while to I don't know that time frame. I do think that WoW probably is going to have a bigger draw for the Xbox community, being that it's you're going to get that, hey, we bought this hype, from the console warriors, so they're like, it's going to get promoted to all get out. But I still think Final Fantasy 14 being long overdue will also draw in some level of like interest, where somebody who's like, and that's going to be kind of a bummer in a way, because we'll see plenty of bad takes online where people are like, I don't really like MMOs, but I heard, from some kind of, crazy ginger and some guy who's been working out and running marathons, that, like, hey, this game's finally coming after 10 years. I'm going to go check it out. And turns out, like, if you don't like MMOs, you're not probably going to like connect in with it, but we'll have to see. Who knows? People can be caught off guard, because a lot of people assume like, oh, I don't like that kind of game. And then you're like, oh, what was the last time you played that? And you're like, oh, I never have. And it's like, oh, maybe go give it a shot for yourself before you make that assumption. Also, over on YouTube, thank you guys for the 13 likes on the stream. It's a great and free way to support the content here. So thank you.
Thank God I brought leftovers home. I really didn't plan for this.
What do you have?
Pizza.
Nice. So we picked up some pizzas last night for the kids from like we did the Little Caesars Hot and Ready's, and then it's crazy because Julie's like, I thought they were like $5. I was like, inflation, $8. It's like, darn it.
Yeah, they haven't been $5 for a long time.
Familia Gamers says, good afternoon. Nice to see you guys after all this time. Yes, thank you so much. Hopefully you're doing well. And the Neff says, my prediction for FanFest is we're going to get the caster job reveal, thinking probably Green Mage. Actually, let me go ahead and put a poll. Let's see here.
Should have made a bingo card.
What's up?
We should have made a bingo card.
I've been, smooth of us. All right, caster or scouting.
That was one of our like most watched clips on Twitch for a long time, when I made the Bobby Kotick apology bingo card before reading his apology. It's just a typical corporate apology.
How do you spell Corsair? I'm trying to that way.
Corsair.
Thank
Reach
you.
out to like Ms. Tech on Team Corsair and say, how do you spell that?
We're gonna start a little poll over here on the YouTube side of things. You guys want to weigh in? We can see what overall chat's feeling like.
One crappy hotel internet, so you freeze a lot. Hopefully, I'm not freezing a lot.
And Pride Izzy is right. The let's see if we get some audio here. Yeah, we got the game music audio. Perfect. Tracy, holy freaking smokes, being a $1 member here on YouTube for 38 months, guys. Dude, let's get some claps in chat just for Tracy. Holy smokes, thank you, Tracy, for that. It's just absolutely wild. And then we had Neff at 11 and 25 months. So if you guys aren't aware, if you are a member, YouTube doesn't do what Twitch does, where it automatically like kind of celebrates that. You have to click on the $ and then just say, hey, let me share my membership milestone or whatever. So it's like a whole extra step that, again, YouTube also has this little heart on the stream that people can react to. But what's really annoying, and I was talking with somebody about this just yesterday, is that it's on the side where it will literally cover up what they've said, and you have to wait till chat gets a little higher before you could actually fully read it, as opposed to like just cover up their icon, or something like that. So anyway,
they're an ad company. They don't really know how all this other stuff works.
Oh, and we have Captain joining as a YouTube member. Thank you, Captain. Appreciate you being here, and welcome in. You guys have special roles in Discord. You have emotes here on the YouTube side of things, and who knows? I'm hoping that YouTube gives us like more controls, because as they start to go and push into that ads, if you don't have YouTube Premium, like I think I would love to see if they open that up as well. And oh man, Moonkey dropping 36 months with us. Thank you guys so much. Twitch lags badly for Tracy. That's the best news. That if you guys haven't seen Twitch announced, you can multi-stream. This is what we've been like advocating for creators, because like you as a creator have new and more choices now. I think that in and of itself is absolutely massive. And so if you're like, oh, should I do YouTube or Twitch? The answer is just do them both. Twitch, I think, has a better chat experience for my use of it. But the convenience of, in my mind, YouTube and the VODs and how they've kind of structured, because you're no longer getting punished for going live because it's not treating it like a video anymore. It's like it's its own category of content, Wriggle, 40 months, Riggy G. Thank you so much for being here and being here for 40 months. That's a long, that's a long time. That's a long time. I don't know if I've been here for 40 months. Thank you, guys. Something got blurred out. It could be the wrong sword for all we know. I don't know what that's in reference to. Wolfman says, I think female Hrothgar is going to be announced today instead of Japan Fan Fest, since Hrothgar is the least popular race in Japan. I think that checks out.
I think like you announce it today and then you can show it in more detail in Japan.
Yeah.
So I think you just logically tease everything out.
Yeah.
You reveal one of the new classes today, probably mage, and then you tease the other one yet a little bit more and say tune in on the next episode of FanFest. And then that way JP still has something exciting.
Yeah. Well, and the job is going to be exciting for JP FanFest regardless, and that is going to happen. And then right after JP FanFest, then you have the beauty of 6.55, like the story kind of concluding, so that builds that excitement. And then you have the Xbox release, and who knows, like maybe there's something else that's they're gonna announce today or in Japan, like, oh, we're doing this this technological feature or something, because we tend to see also the bigger tech upgrades, which we know is happening with 7.0 sometime around the point 5.8 5.9, leading it like a couple of weeks before the expansion, not like what WoW does, where they basically give you the expansion, they just don't unlock the content, so you can they can kind of work out the issues or something like that. What's that event called? Like I can't even recall. Pre-patch. Cool. The new member here. Oh my gosh, dude. Leonada Darkstar, thank you so much for becoming a YouTube member. I hope you enjoy your badge, your emotes, and your special role on the Discord server. So thank you so much for that support. And happy FanFest Day. Obviously, we will be here for the Japanese FanFest in just like a couple months. Like, it feels like this is just going pretty fast. Do you think he's gonna give us any kind of update on the release window? Because he said they're hoping for early summer. Do you think we're gonna see any change in that?
No, I'd be shocked at a date. I was surprised he gave us a season last time.
I think we get a date for Japan, and that's why I think when they go to sell the Xbox version, that it's bundled all together, because
we get a date for
the release in Japan, like for the Japanese Fan Fest.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that there's like, here's the announcement, here's the date.
Because the distance from JP FanFest, like, because 6.55 hasn't even come out at JP FanFest, we know the distance to the expansion is far. So I think calling a date at EU is way too soon.
This is a really good question from Indy over on Twitch, saying, have Brian and Chris talked about the Screen Rant interview about the cloud servers, and do we think that they're going to talk more about the cloud servers today?
They could talk more about the cloud servers today. I have not read the Screen Rant interview, but they could absolutely expand on that more. The other thing is, like, if this is anybody's first FanFest season, there are a lot of people who have never been through a FanFest series, all three. So there are a lot of things that'll just be kind of like there are people over in the YouTube chat that are like, we're going to get both job reveals today. And it's like, no, we're not. No, we're not. Because that would, like, why would you're not leaving anything? And there were people who came out of the NA one. They're like, I was really expecting no more. It's like, well, they have 2 more shows. So they're breaking apart the programming. But the other thing to keep in mind is, like, there's still a lot of summary. Like, there's a lot of summary, because they are not assuming everybody that watches EU FanFest watched all of NA FanFest. So there is room to talk about things like the cloud servers. I think that there will also be things to talk about at JP. So if it doesn't make it today, I would expect it to get gone over at the Japanese Fan Fest. But I assume that you start seeding it the way they did like belts. So last Fan Fest, like the last Fan Fest series, they talked about the belts each Fan Fest. And there were still people who came back to the game and were like, what happened to belts? It's like, that's why they talked about this. It was in posts on the website. It was in all three Fan Fest, or in the whole digital Fan Fest series. It was in the whatever they called that other event. It wasn't a Fan Fest, but it was a Fan Fest. They just, every possible chance in live letters, anytime they had a chance, they brought up belts over and over and over. And it still catches people off guard because like it's a game that is filled with people that take breaks. So like if you're on break while it gets announced, you come back, you're like, wait, what now? Makes sense.
Yeah. I don't know if they're going to spend a lot of time on it in a keynote, because that's something I think that's more.
Oh, you think it'd be only like a panel?
A live letter or a panel where it like maybe they do mention it, but in terms of like going into like what is it going to entail, unless it's going to fundamentally and radically change how they do this, especially because they're just beta testing it as a part of 6.5, right? So
being a slide, like when we see the server merges or server splits,
I can see that as a slide. But again, like I don't think if it's super hyper technical that they're gonna be like, and here's all the things that you're gonna get because of it. Like at the end of the day, just like to your point about how people were like, wait, what happened to belts? Like that's the thing that like is always, like I always try to like, we got to remember that the people who are hanging out with us here, like that's the hyper engaged, but the game is so massive that people are just like, oh, I play this. And, for people who haven't played since the Endwalker, Finnick concluded, they'll come back for Dawn Trail, and just like that, like they come back for a specific window, and then they get inundated with a lot of information, and then spend 2 to 3 months with the game, and then they go take a 2-year break,
which is great.
Yeah. So I'm very curious to see what that. I would be more excited, and I don't think they're going to do that today, but if they started talking about Final Fantasy XI running as a cloud native app or something like that, where I think that would be something that would be really exciting for me to see them announce, because they've talked about it. They've said they've looked into it, but in the end, I don't know. And I wonder though, when it comes down to the cloud, like who are they using, right? Because they had Phil Spencer on stage in the last Fan Fest. Like, have they made a closer deal relationship? Because Microsoft does have a lot of cloud-based servers, or I don't know. Like that would be something exciting for me to know. Just to see who they business-wise decided to partner with for their cloud, servers.
I assume Microsoft is the shoe-in for that.
Yeah, I like that would be the easiest path. You already have a working relationship, but Amazon does have a lot of pull, and then I think that's where like their New World game has been just a massive like advertisement for, hey, do stuff on our servers. They're, like you have a lot of,
we can't handle a live event, but if your game needs to be live, we can do that.
Yeah.
Our live events, there have umbrellas being held up by people. There's not a plan.
Noctis is asking, what time does the Fan Fest start? Here in roughly about 15 minutes, give or take. So just kind of as a heads up, that's going to be kind of the plan. So hopefully that isn't too much to wait. And it's roughly going to last about an hour. And then I think Chris and I are going to try to get a little bit more sleep before our craziness picks up after that. Ryle says, do you think with the next expansion that they'll start adding more job designs rather than simplifying jobs further? Do you feel that the jobs are currently in a good place? What do you think, Chris?
Do I think they'll add more job designs rather than simplifying? No. The more jobs we get and the more skills they introduce, the more streamlined the system has to get as a whole to stay balanceable. And people that point out that other games have more job variety than 14, I don't think they're as balanced as 14. Like when we complain that a job is not welcome, it still clears the content.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't clear it first. So no, I think the game continues down this path that it's on. I'm hopeful that they're going to slide away from the 2-minute meta. I think that was a mistake. A fair bit of my feelings towards that are hindsight. as opposed to there were people that are much more in tune with that could kind of see it coming. And in hindsight, it is obvious that you could see it coming, but like I didn't have that foresight that people could explain eloquently, like what would happen, and then those things came to pass in exactly that way.
Yeah.
I was not some of those like twitlongers and stuff that went out on like, here's what's fundamentally wrong with this. I just didn't have that level of mechanical knowledge. But the 2-minute meta, I don't know. It made sense why the last big rounds of changes have been like, oh, we're trying to like raise the, like what the lowest denominator players can achieve. But in reality, they actually made the disparity between those players and the top end players larger than ever before, because anytime you add something, your best players are going to take advantage of it too. And obviously they're going to take advantage of it better. So like the more you try to like create these kind of multiplier opportunities, all you're doing is just further extending the lead.
So when it comes down to the job designs specifically as a part of that question, when I do think that we'll continue to see jobs, like they've been adding the 2 jobs, but then they've also kind of been redesigning like one of the existing jobs. We saw that massively last time with Summoner. I do believe Dragoon, and like they've named a couple and they've made changes, but like, and I don't know if the current changes have truly address some people's concerns, because you bring up the 2-minute meta, which I was just listening to, Cole's latest video on that. And I was like, it's just fascinating, just to see how like different people who engage the game different ways feel about different things. And I think that it has to then be in response to the battle system, and those changes, right? Like, how is the battle system changing? Where do these fall in? Because I saw a comment here, with 21 jobs and only 8 players per raid, 13 jobs won't be in the world first clear. So no matter what, like as that list gets bigger and bigger, that exclusion is, I think their goal is obviously to make sure that as many of those jobs are viable for that, but they're not wrong. Like you only have a limited number of slots. People aren't gonna make the cut. And the question is why? Like, is that a player skill issue, or is that, like, because we've seen it time again, people were trashing Dark Knight, and the world first like ultimate clear had a Dark Knight because that player's like, I like how the job plays. Like, that's what I want to play as. And so you're going to spend the time and bring your skill up so that way. But the question ends up being is that if it's not a skill issue, if it ends up being like there's just a mathematical equation issue where this job just cannot cut it in this hard end content. But the outside of that, like outside of the like ultimates and stuff, the 99.9% of the game is going to be clearable on any job for any reason. It's not gonna push you. It's not gonna challenge you. And that's going to be something that, that's going to continue on for quite a bit of time. The Delivery Moogle asks, what is something from 1.0 that you'd like to see return in current Final Fantasy 14? And since I was the 1.0 player, I'd love to see more open world content. Honestly, the fact that they stopped doing battle leaves, I thought leaves for the open world just offered a potential that was unrealized. And I think it was its connection to 1.0 that had them like get rid of it. So the last time we saw battle leaves was in Heaven's Word. And I think that is unfortunately something that could have been like cultivated. So when we talk about like deep dungeon and all and different open world content, leaves and leave allowances, it'd be interesting to see like, hey, we're going to go and try to do a boss run, like just that wave, like, hey, I'm going to kick off this leave and we're going to just try to go as long as we can, and then it ends up being a spectacle because it ends up utilizing the maps in fun and unique ways that I think would be kind of neat. So I wouldn't mind to say, I would love to see more open world content actually make a return to the game, not just set up for like how they've had it with a Eureka or a Bosha.
I'm unbelievably excited at how much they've come with the squadron, the trust system, and duty support. So I'm hopeful that will give them confidence in making more content more dangerous. Because if you have the option to bring AI with you as like a handicap, right, as like a more narrative, like expositional handicap, then maybe we have the ability to go navigate that without the AI help and make that a more challenging mode.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I would love for the world to be dangerous.
And no, Deep Dungeon isn't open world content, but it offers rules and things like buffs and debuffs. Like, so if you start to think about it, like every 10 levels, every 10 waves that the system just, your leaves are going to get more and more challenging. And essentially, what's up?
Did you mess with the new Deep Dungeon?
No, I haven't touched the game since like 6.2.
It's delightful.
Good. The yeah, I'm wondering just how, like where I looked at Bozja. Somebody asked me recently, like, do you prefer Eureka or Bozja? Now, I loved Bozja because the quality of life were the things that I wish they would bring into Eureka, like job leveling. Like that's one of the things I was like, why not just let people in? It's a whole different progression system. Let people progress in the system. But Eureka in and of itself, I think is what I would want to see, some kind of Eureka 2.0, that learns from what Bozja does. But, again, just like my frustration with Island Sanctuary being all the way at the end of the expansion, based off of the type of content that it is, it's like, oh, do you want to come and play? Oh man, I really want to check out that Island Sanctuary. Well, here you go. You got, 400 hours of this RPG to beat before you can check out that content, or you can spend some money and do that. I guess that's kind of going to be one of the solutions with Dawn Trail, because you can jump right to Island Sanctuary in that case.
It continually shocks me how long the tail on Eureka has been.
Mm-hmm.
That there's just so much continued interest in it that it, in a lot of ways, like out ages even like an Ultimate.
Yeah.
Like in a lot of ways, because it can be so much more like community driven.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
Now, a DVD House says they talked about possible changes to Astro and Dragoon, and that was the other job. It was Astro that they've kind of mentioned. For some reason, I was thinking Paladin, but I was like, I think they already made those changes mid expansion to Paladin. Wolfman says Dragoon is perfect and doesn't need a rework. I'm just relating what Yoshi P is stated. So I don't know what they would do, but if they brought in a pet wyvern for the Dragoon, I think that would be something that would be exciting to see. It wouldn't, be a true pet class, but that's Dragoon in Final Fantasy 11 had the pet wyvern, which was really nice. And it used to, that's where Lol Dragoon comes from, is because it used to be their 2-hour ability. And if you guys aren't aware, like in 11, they had these abilities that you could only use once every 2 hours, real time, Earth time. And the Dragoon used to have it where that's how you summon the wyvern. It was their 2-hour ability. And if your wyvern died, you're LOL Dragoon. Like it's like, man, go change your job, because like you're not going to be able to summon it. They eventually did change that so that you could resummon your Dragoon, but oh my goodness, I thought that was interesting.
Oh, it's early.
Yeah, dude. How much time? I was like, do I have enough time to run down and get a cup of coffee? I think I should, just because I can already feel like, we've been talking for like an hour, and it's like, oh man, this is gonna be wild. I'm going to leave you guys in Chris's capable hands. I'll be right back. I'm going to go get myself a cup of coffee.
I need to get Twitch chat up and YouTube chat up. I'm on a laptop, and I'm just the one screen, so it's really hard to have the stream up. And so I have so the windows are just going to continually get smaller as I make room for more and more things here. He's in the host seat today, so he sees everybody simultaneously on his ultra wide that's like 9,000 feet wide. Easy. All right. Caster. I have to vote? No, I didn't want to vote. No. When I voted, it asked me to log in. No, I don't want to log in. Close poll. Oh, nice. There it is. There it is. Very good. But yeah, it should be in just 7 minutes. Should be a nice time. Look at the Twitch side of things. And it should be probably the first. It'll be a trailer. The trailer will get longer than the last one, so pay close attention because it will get longer. Let's see. So it should get longer than before. And then just by a little bit. And then it'll get even longer at JP Fan Fest. And then it should be, in addition to that, we'll go through like a summary. And like they'll go through everything that we learned in the first one, which is the basic stuff, right? Like we're getting MSQ, we're getting, all these kind of typical things, which just shouldn't be surprising. There it is. I hear him. She says begin shortly. I heard the crowd. Oh, come on. What a tease. Hopefully Brian's back in time. He didn't pull the screen up with it, but it just says we'll begin shortly. Those of you that got tickets to go to any of the fan fests, very, very, very cool. I had a blast. It made sense why they had to cap the size. It felt so big and in Vegas, but it definitely didn't feel like they could have made it twice the size. But I do know that by its very nature, that means that like there wasn't room for everybody. All right, we're panning over everybody. Cool. Nice big room. Convention centers all look the same. You're just panning over people. It's just a handsome crowd of Warriors of Light. Now, Zeno was going. That's Zeno sitting there, right? Zeno was going to EU Fan Fest as well. Pretty sure that's Zeno sitting there. Cool. Cool, cool. All right. It'll be better next year. Well, I mean, it's every other year, so they do get a lot of time to prep and grow and learn. I don't get to go to BlizzCon this year, and like I'm really bummed about that because it's coming back and I'm excited. But I just don't have any more PTO. Like this wedding I'm at right now kind of burns the last of my PTO. I have like a couple floating days that I can take here and there, but nothing that I can go like just indulge in. Like you have to kind of balance PTO, right? Any of you that are married or have families or anything like that, you don't get to just use it. So FanFest was kind of taxed me. Which maybe that's it. Maybe I just go to every other BlizzCon because I go in the in-between years. And that's why I've never been to like a TwitchCon or like a PAX or any of that. It's because I just don't have the time to go to all this. But they look fun. There's some board game cons that look really fun. My brothers have been to like some Warhammer type conventions, mini wargaming stuff. So seems like most of the issues were with the venue. We're crowding and ADA. I'll tell you that like the staff just didn't seem to have it quite as together as the Square Enix people. The staff just felt like normally maybe they just kind of keep people pointed at where the bathrooms are, and like they hadn't had quite a crowd that like all comes in at exactly the same time and leaves at exactly the same time. It's not a typical convention where people might trickle in across the day. Like we all exactly go in for the keynote and then exactly flow outside to all go to the merch line. It just didn't seem like the way they run things is the way FanFest is run, where we're all going to stay for the entire keynote and nobody's going to miss it and nobody's going to leave early. And then at the exact same time, because there's things like timed going and doing a boss battle or going to merch line, like there's this mad rush to go to the next thing at exactly the same time for every single attendee. So it just makes a mess that you don't get maybe at other types of conventions. All right. They panned over the crowd. Everybody cheered. There it is.
There it is.
5.
Bum, bum, bum. Yeah, it's perfect timing. I was like, I think I have enough time to run downstairs and get a cup of coffee.
Are there fireworks in the 10s? Do we get firework on 30? Yeah.
Interesting. Well done.
Excellent choice. Should be more fireworks each time. It should be a slowly growing, bigger fireworks.
Five, four, three, two, one. Very curious to see what changes with the trailer.
Blue seas, clear skies, and boundless possibilities. I dare say our destination will soon be in sight.
Enjoying yourself for a change?
Did we see anything different too?
So far, no.
Was Aaronville on the boat before?
Yeah, he was there before. Because I remember chat going, Arabelle! I think this is a little bit new. Yeah. Yeah, this is new.
Okay. Please don't just be a dungeon. Please be new fates. That.
Oh.
take on-
Oh, that was awesome. And then going right into this, like cooking steaks. Good old Moomal job, baby. Okay.
The transition with the food's a thing.
Yeah, the twice. It's the culinarian expansion, y'all. This is new. This is new. Here's the taco, big fat tacos.
Might you have a moment to speak further?
Yeah, we're live, dude. Oh, look at that. Dual swords. Dual swords. Putting them together.
What?
That's the kind of staff. Holy freaking crap.
What?
I thought they were going to go with the mage. Chat thought they were going to go with the... Oh, now chat's thinking Corsair on the pole.
Cool.
Last, we have come to the land you call the New World.
Zidane.
Cool. What do they call it? Duelist?
Yeah. I
Swordsmith?
I still go with Corsair. Like, I think that... Who knows? We'll see. But it was like a bow, swords, katanas. Like, you know, how much of the Ninja Turtles were represented in that clip.
Cool. Excellent.
There it is.
Oh, super cool. There's no way you could have told me this would be the first job revealed.
We were both wrong. We were thinking, at least I was hoping for mage.
Way to go.
Thank you for coming today.
Oh, that's so good.
Welcome to the Final Fantasy XIV Fan Festival 2023 in London.
I love how much English he's spoken this time around. That's just an incredible.
Well, he's also like saying, "Hey, I'm gonna do English," and sorry about that. Like, you know, it's like Yeah.
But he's historically just been very careful about using English. He doesn't want to say something wrong. He knows the weight that his words carry. So he understands a lot of English, but he just doesn't want to get it wrong.
That said, some of you are probably wondering, where's Kate? What did Koji do with Kate? It's okay. Kate is back in Japan working with the team overtime to make sure that the game comes out in summer of 2024. So for now, you're stuck with me.
まあ確かにね、ケイトさん今もう日本で 7.0 の作業バリバリしてるからね。今日は工事にプライマー
Summer of 24. Is that the first time you said summer? Did they say summer before?
Yeah, they said summer 2024.
I'm having trouble drawing back everything that we've heard and versus assumed.
That's right. Kate is hard at work back in Japan, and we thought that since Koji was going to be here with the primals, we'd just try to get our money's worth. So.
改めて皆さんこんにちは、お久しぶりです。欧州ロンドン帰ってこれて本当に嬉しいです。
All right, it's great seeing you all again, and I'm so happy to be back in the UK.
Cool.
さて、北米に続いて開催となるファンフェスティバル2023、2024、今回は欧州ロンドンからお届けしてまいります。
Okay, so now coming
I
hot
don't
off
know.
the heels of our most recent fan festival in North America, we are excited to kick off the festivities here in London.
前回は北米でしたが、今回ようやく欧州にも帰ってこれました。欧州のプレイヤーの皆さんとお会いできて本当に嬉しいです。
All right, after seeing the fans again in Las Vegas, I've been really looking forward to seeing our fans here in Europe.
I don't know. Like some chats have said that the volume on the stream's a little bit low. Can you hear it okay, Chris? Yeah, like I can hear it really well. Yeah, it's a little bit quieter than me. Yeah.
ついに10周年となります。これまでの本当にたくさんのサポートありがとうございます。改めてお礼を申し上げます。
All right, so we've come a long way in the 13 years since the launch of 1.0 and the 10 years since the relaunch of A Realm Reborn. And we couldn't have made it this far without you. It's been an amazing journey, and you have my deepest thanks for joining us along the way.
さあ、欧州ファンフェスティバル、僕の開幕基調講演からスタートしてまいりたいと思います。どうぞよろしくお願いします。
And so now, without further ado, I'd like to officially kick off the keynote address. Yoshida-san, what's with the... Yeah,
Such great artwork.
確かにね、トレーラー
Yeah, you could turn it up a little bit.
出てましたね。これ
They're up to max.
選手ね。
Oh.
All right, it kind of looks like what our Warrior of Light was wearing in the trailer.
まあ僕も50歳になったので、そろそろコスプレは勘弁してほしいっていうふうにスタッフに言ったんですけど、まあどうしてもやれと。
So now I just turned 50 years old this year, and I'm getting a little old for cosplay, but the dev team wouldn't take no for an answer, so.
じゃあ早速新情報から参りたいんですが、今スクリーンに映ってるこの、新しい CG イラスト、パッケージデザインになる予定です。ぜひ覚えておいてください。
All right, so with that, let's move on to our first piece of information. First, you have this great artwork up here. This is the package artwork.
Well, are they going to show it to us? Oh, good job. We missed the package artwork.
では最初にですね、まだ絶賛開発中なのでお見せできるアクションそんなに多くはないんですが、イメージをつかんでいただくために動画をご用意してます。
And our first new information is about the new job. And as always, rather than have me talk about it, let's give you an exclusive sneak peek with this video showing the job in action.
Let's see it in action, baby. And then he's going to talk about it, and then they're going to show it again. See, this is already louder. I'm wondering if it's their broad, like...
Maybe we're just too loud.
We are too loud. I like the effect on the screen. Man, we wanted. I love that they put that together. That's awesome. That's great. That's excellent. Viper. Fascinating. Okay.
黄金のレガシー新ジョブ第1弾
I didn't see anybody saying that in any of these chats.
二刀流の近接メレー DPS です。
All right, so the first of our 2 new jobs being released with Dawn Trail is the dual-wielding melee DPS Viper.
バイパーはファイナルファンタ
That's
ジー
awesome, man.
完全オリジナルジョブとなってます。
Viper is a Final Fantasy XIV original.
Okay. I wonder any inspiration from Zidane, if he'll mention it.
二刀流の正統派剣士を実装してほしいというたくさんのフィードバックに応える形で今回実装が進んでいます。
So it was designed to cater to those players around the world who have been asking for a new dual-wield job that's different from Ninja.
この黄金のレガシーに向けて、完全新規で企画開発が進んできてます。
And it was designed specifically for Dawn Trail.
アートにも CG にもありますが、今僕が装備しているこのデザインがジョブ専用装備となってます。
And as you can see here in the art, and from what was shown in the video, and what I am wearing, this is the Viper's job-specific gear.
ではバイパーの特徴を見ていくことにしましょう。
All right, so let's take a closer look at the Viper's characteristics.
ロールは近接 DPS で装備枠は忍者と同じデックス命令という区分になってます。
With the dual wielding, it's
Viper's
just
role
guaranteed.
is
You know, they're
melee DPS
sharing this.
with the gear type falling under the
ninja
dexterity
gear.
melee category, or the same as Ninja.
二刀流武器というこの専用の武器を使うことになります。
And Vipers will utilize dual blades that are unique to the job.
クリックしてね。
Are they identical? Like Ninja? Do they have to be identical? Do you have to have 2 of the same sword?
Yeah, they're. Well, I mean, it'd be different if they let you have 2 different swords, but Ninja, they like because we were asked that about the daggers. Because in
Correct.
11, you could have 2 different daggers.
Saves money on the graphics engine that they get to reuse the same art twice.
Right.
Or it saves resources. So they can't. Like Paladin is expensive, but it is 2 different things.
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna have a like 2 different weapons that you have to acquire. Not like how they did with the Paladin sword and shield, which was like a problem that they were working to overcome for a while.
And the starting location for the job quest will be Ulda.
What if Corsair is the caster, and it and Red Mage get to go be buddies as like musketeer casters?
Oh, that's interesting.
And again, the job should be available immediately at Dawn Trail's
Just bring back
launch,
like
as long
the
as
Bard,
aforementioned
like mage elements,
prerequisites
and
are
let like
cleared. So if you want
Bard,
to play the whole,
right? Because Bard's had a couple of
Dawn Trail
personalities,
scenario
and
as
so
a
let
Viper, you can do
Mhm.
that.
let Bard get one of them, and then just let the other one be called something else. So the people that appealed to get it.
All right, let's talk about the battle concept.
I don't know.
バイパーはこの特徴として二刀流武器を使用しますが、
So a Viper will use a pair of one-handed blades to attack their foes.
これを用いたこの二刀流の
It's pretty cool to have a shared
さら
mode.
にこのブレードを合体させた合体剣という攻
Yeah,
撃2
Because
つ
it's just not like
持ってます
dual
But they
weapons.
can
It's like
also
okay.
combine these blades in a single two-handed weapon to deal heavier blows.
そして特徴的なのがですね、常時ヘイストがかかっているジョブになるために攻撃頻度かなり高いジョブになります。
So in addition to dealing swift attacks that are so fast that they feel like they already have haste cast on them,
今回、まだ開発中ということで、アクションまだまだ少ないんですが、自己強化することで、先ほどねオーラをまとってましたが、 そういった強力な、DPS を出せる状態という特殊なモードも用意されてます。
And so a Viper also has the ability to summon this special power to temporarily enhance themselves. Kind of like you saw with that aura that they had in the trailer.
Kind of has a Reaper vibe when I saw that. I was like, oh,
ウェポンスキルの間にアビリティを挟む頻度というのも非常に高いことを想定しているので、かなりスタイリッシュかつ操作頻度が高いジョブとして、現在開発が進んでます。
So Viper is a technically demanding yet highly stylish melee job that affords frequent opportunities for players to execute various abilities in between the weapon skills.
ご期待に添えるように、開発を進めておりますので、どうぞ。
Can any top-end players help me understand? Did
All right, the development team is working
Major Reaper
hard to
require
create
that much?
something that lives up to your high expectations. So please look forward to it.
can you repeat that question, Chris? I didn't quite
okay,
hear
so
you.
did Sage or Reaper really turn out to be as technically demanding as they said when they were dealing with the exact same terminology?
Okay, I don't know. We'll have to see if somebody knows.
All right, so now with all of that I've just explained in mind, let's take one more look at that video. Roll it.
Because they called them technically demanding, like for people that wanted that challenge. But I don't know if I don't know if you'll feel that they actually require a higher skill level. It doesn't require a skill level to play the way I play. Almost effortless to be mediocre.
I like that like blink style effect they have on that attack.
Yeah.
Oh, and they have it actually where his swords actually do combine. That's awesome.
Yeah, you should hold off. It's going to break. Don't break it. Be careful. Calm down.
もちろんこの王のレガシーで実装されるジョブというのはこのバイパー一つだけではありません。
So now you all know that Dawn Trail will feature not one, but two new jobs.
すでに遠隔魔法 DPS キャスターであることは皆さんにお伝えしていますが、さてどんなジョブになるのか。
All right, and you already know that the second job is to be ranged magic DPS.
すでに北米の基調講演でもヒントはもう出ておりますの
Are they gonna
で、
tease it?
答え合わせはすみません、日本のファンフェスまでお
Yeah,
待
you
ちください。
tease it now.
But
You just don't reveal what it is.
what that job is, well, other than the little hint I dropped back in Las Vegas, you're going to have to wait until Tokyo.
Oh, no new hint, bummer.
Oh, come on. Just a little tease.
Oh, I don't know. He said you have to wait. Time age.
Wait.
何
Wait.
何
Are you going to hold those sword the whole time?
まあそうね。
Yeah.
じゃあちょっと武器スタンドを出してもらっていい
Okay.
かしら。
Can we bring the stands out for the swords?
What?
Maybe? Stands for the sword? Oh, there we go.
おー
Thank you.
Thank you. It's okay.
Cool.
Okay. And now for your real weapon, the clicker.
Okay.
You ready?
Item level up.
Did someone just yell, get rid of
続い
positionals?
て、基調講演進めてまいりたいと思います。新たな拡張パッケージ、黄金のレガシーについて、北米でも、ご紹介しましたが、ストーリー改めて簡単に振り返っておこうと思います。
All right, so we already talked a little bit about Dawn Trail's story in Las Vegas, but we'd like to do a little recap before we continue.
I don't know. I think the TMNT also represents Viper.
Right.
Yeah,
I think it does both.
Yeah. Having like ninja
So we already
things that
talked a
like
little bit about
go together into a
how
bow
Dawn
staff
Trail
is
would
very
provide
clever.
The Warriors of Light with a well-deserved summer vacation.
新たなる冒険、そのバカンスの目的地は西方のトラル大陸と呼ばれている地域になります。
And that vacation would be taking place in the far western land of Tyrol.
すでにパッチ 6.5 のメインストーリーパート1にてその片鱗、出ておりますが、
So with the release of part 1 in patch 6.5, you got a glimpse of where the story will be taking you.
本格的にストーリーがこの 7.0 につながっていくのは、パッチ 6.5、メインクエストパート2の方からになりますので、ぜひ
Baku, we don't have a date on 16
But it will
coming to
be the
PC,
release of
but
part 2
2024.
that you'll better understand what's in store for you and the Scions and how everything in Dawntrail's main narrative connects together.
光の戦士の皆さんが依頼されるのはトラル大陸におけるある王国の王位継承レースへの助力になります。
So the Warrior of Light has been asked to sail west across the Indigo Deep to assist in a right of succession for Tyral's throne.
おなじみのメンバーもちろん勢ぞろいしていきますが、
And of course, all the Scions will be joining the Warrior of Light in Tyral.
今回そこで繰り広げられるのは暁の血明を二分する王位継承レースです。
But not all will be on the
Light
same
looks like
side.
he's slowly
for the
turning into
upcoming
Bradley Cooper.
contest.
北米でも聞いたんですけど、ちょっとヨーロッパでも聞いてみましょうか。どの
That'd be funny.
暁のメンバーと一緒にレースに参加したいですか？
Okay, so we asked the same question in Las Vegas, but we want to ask all of you, who do you want to be with you when you're done the contest? Who from the Scions?
Do we get to choose?
I wonder. I think that'd be kind of cool.
And if so, does it meaningfully change it to where there's replayability?
No idea. Random lag on Twitch.
いろんな、いや、これだけで
Shenanigans.
もたくさんの方にね、いろんなキャラクター愛していただいてるのは本当に嬉しいです。
I'm really happy that you all love all of the Scions so much.
誰がレースの敵に回るのかもご注目ください。
But we can't tell you now, but who's going to be on your side? Who's going to be the opposing side? You'll have to wait to find out.
で、この
Get to split the
7.0
twins.
拡張の全体のテーマとしては、ファイナルファンタジー14新たな冒険の幕開けというテーマを抱えています。
So the main narrative theme for Final Fantasy XIV 7.0 is a journey of new discovery.
もちろんストーリーもこれまでの拡張パッケージ同様、RPG 丸1本分の体験しっかりお届けしていこうと思います。
And as always, we plan on providing players with a full standalone RPG's worth of story and experiences with this single expansion.
そのきっかけとなる王位継承レースとは何なのか。
What, however, will that story entail? What is this contest?
トラル大陸にはどんなエリアや冒険が待ち構えているのか。
What adventures await in this new land?
そしてエメトセルクも言っていた黄金鏡というキーワードは一体何なのか。
And what is this city of gold that Emmett Selk talked about?
もちろんこれまで同様に皆さんに驚いていただく仕掛けというのもご用意していますので、ぜひそのストーリーお見逃しのないようよろしくお願いします。
And of course, we have a lot of other surprises. I can tell you right now, they're going to be big ones.
Okay.
僕らもここからね、6.0 でストーリー1回ハイデリンゾディアーク編完結してこの物語がどう皆さんと一緒に転がっていくのかめちゃくちゃ楽しみにしてますので、ぜひ引き続き皆さんと一緒にファイナルファンタジー14作っていきたいと思います。
I mean, I know you guys really enjoyed the Hydaelyn Zodiac series, but we have something that's even better waiting for you in Dawntrail. We hope you enjoy it.
Cool.
ではここから、新たな冒険の舞台となるトラル大陸に関して、北米のファンフェスに情報をさらに付け加えて、お届けしていきたいと思います。
Right, so next up, let's talk a little bit more about Tyrol, and we're going to start by expanding on some of the info that released back in Vegas.
Sweet.
これまでの冒険の舞台は三大州と呼ばれる地域でした。
So up until now, we've spent most of our time on the three great continents.
今回はドーントレイルの冒険により活動地域が西側、海を越えた西方へ広がっていきます。
But as we talked about last time, our adventures in Dawntrail will be taking us far to the west.
ですので、今回の拡張だけではなく、今後
The
皆さんの
central
冒険の舞台は
new
惑星
world.
ハイデリン全体へと及んでいくことになります。
But again, this doesn't mean that we've seen all of Heidelin, most of Heidelin, not all of Heidelin.
では、前回の北米のファンフェスでもお
We
伝
gotta head
えした
north
プレイヤータウン
north
トライオラ
Europe.
というところに関して
I wonder if we will. Like,
追加情報をお伝え
is
してい
this
きたい
like
と思い
all
ます。
zones over there, or are
Next,
they
we're
gonna?
talk
It'll be
about
like
that
Salt
main
Lake
hub, the main
City.
center player hub that the Warrior List of Light will be operating from during Dawn Trail.
これまでのプレイヤータウンよりもかなり多民族、多くの民族入り乱れた、街という特徴になってます。
So this city of Tuliyolao will be far different from the existing player hubs that the players have seen before.
これまではスクリーンショットとアートワークでご紹介したんですが、開発が進み、動画の準備ができましたので、動画でご覧いただこうと思います。
So the last time we were only able to show you the city via screenshots and artwork, but this time we've prepared some special in-game footage.
Yay! I remember there's one time they were like, it's a little bit delayed on that, so it's good to see the city in game.
Is this the new graphics update?
Yeah, it's got to be.
Cool.
Dude, the music in this game slaps like all the time.
The grass is really just so much better. Because like a beach just doesn't give you a chance to show extra ground detail.
Yeah.
But the handful of times that it flashed for like foliage.
そういえば、サウンドディレクターであるソケンからコメントを預かってたんでした。
So before we continue, we had a little message from Soken, our sound director.
今の動画の曲、まだまだモック
Why
ア
is
ップ
Soken
なの
not
で
there?、
サンプルだと思ってくださいと、
I don't know.
伝えてほしいと言われてます。
Didn't he have to
So he
perform at the
asked me to
finals?
tell you that the music
Maybe.
playing
Maybe
in
he'll
the
be there
video is
later.
just a mock-up.
なのでもっとすごくなるから期待してくださ
I
い
like the
とのこと
music
です
even though it's a
That the
mock-up.
final track will be a lot better.
Oh, okay. He's just relying on his thoughts. Okay.
ト
Lee
ライ
phrased
は
it. I
こ
was
れまで
like,
のプレイヤータウンと異なり、多数の民族、文化が溶け合っているというお話、先ほどしました。
So as I mentioned before, the city is far different from the major cities on Heidelin. It is a culturally diverse, pluralistic state.
トレーラーで主人公と剣を交えていた2つの頭を持つマムージャの王グルールジャジャによって統治された国です。
So that massive two-headed Mamulja that we saw the Warrior of Light fighting with in the trailer, that's the current ruler of the nation and king of the Mamulja, Galul Jaja.
このトライオラ、オールドシャーレアンと、カイロで国交があります。
But the Mamulja aren't the only peoples living in the city. On top of that, it appears the city has an established trade route with Old Charlia.
今回ご覧いただいた、動画ウォークスルーですが、まだまだ NPC の配置が行われていませんが、非常に多くの密度あるオブジェクト、グラフィックスアップデートの効果ご覧いただけたんじゃないかなと思います。
So in that walkthrough that you just saw, you saw that there were no NPCs there. Those will be added later. But hopefully you got an idea
Makes
of what
sense.
the town will look like.
Saw
and
Caramax
all
say,
of
like,
the-
it looks
the
empty.
high
It's like,
quality
yeah.
of all of the objects that we have thanks to our graphical
media
model.
tour was like that too. When they let us
Yeah.
in, everything was stripped out. Where is everybody?
では
Where did everybody
続いて
go?
フィールド行ってみましょう。
So next I'd like to introduce you to some of the new areas that you'll find in Tyrol.
トラル大陸のフィールド、まずは前回ご紹介したオルコパチャとヤクテル樹海についてです。
Okay, so first we're going to start off with the two areas that we talked about in Las Vegas, Urkopacha and Yaktel.
こちらも開発が進んでまいりましたので、今回は動画で、ウォークスルーご覧いただこうと思います。
And since we talked last, development, of course, has continued, and we are ready to show you some in-game footage. Roll it.
Oh yeah. Remember last time? Zone music. Yeah, you're right. That grass looks way more, and it does fill out the zone so much better.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that's neat.
Makes such a difference. It makes even the barren areas feel better.
Mm-hmm.
Because it doesn't just look like you took the same plant and planted it rarely. It makes each plant look like it's like struggling to find its way.
Yeah.
Because there's just so much more depth. Even the ground texture when he was running on the path seemed better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Agreed.
まだまだ開発中のエリアではありますが、今回これまで以上に環境設定、自然環境
They can phrase it as a chill vacation, but like it's not going to be like a vacation you and I go on. You're like, hey, while you're here, there happens to be a dragon that has to be fought. Do you want to help us fight this dragon? Like,
creating landscapes that feel even more real and natural than ever before.
まあ動画だけだとね、どうしても分かりにくいところありますが、皆さん歩いて
why is this song so familiar? Because Soken makes callbacks in his music constantly.
クオリティの高さ感じていただけると思いますので、
There's nothing new
楽しみ
in
にしていただければと思います。
I mean, it's a little bit hard to tell in this video, but we've been taking full advantage of that first graphical update coming with Dawn Trail that you're really going to be able to notice this when you get in and play the game.
では続いて、ここまでは北米でもお話した情報なので、さらなる新エリアを、ア
PS4 support
ー
will
ト
support
と
this.
スクリーンショットで見ていきたいと思います。
But
We'll
these
get a whole
two
nother
areas we've
expansion on
already
PS4.
talked about in Las Vegas. Today, we're going to bring you something new, some new areas, especially for London.
All right.
こち
Kazamuka?
らコザマルカという首都であるトライオラの南に広がっている密林地帯です。
Okay, so Kozamauka is a very dense jungle located to the South Tyrol's capital city of Tuliolao.
ドントレーラーのトレーラーの中にもあの特徴的な、巨大な岩登場していたと思います。岩のある上部とそれから下部2つのエリアに分かれているのがこのエリアの特徴となっています。
All right, so the unique rock formations that you saw in the trailer are located in this area, and they split the jungle into upper and lower areas through which countless rivers flow.
特に上層と下層の
Because
間
we
にあ
have
る
to have a
巨大
reason
な
for the
滝
MSQ to
大
come
瀑
through the
布
zone
も大きな特徴になっています。
And there are a lot of waterfalls in between the upper and lower areas as well.
ここに住まう部族も、多種多様新たな出会いが皆さんを、待ち構えています。
Splitting a zone with a river
Several
or
different
cliff
peoples call this
lets you
region
tell
home,
two
meaning
different
there's
levels
much
of
adventure
story.
to be had.
Mm-hmm.
We've
で
done
はこ
another
ちら
expansion.
コザマルカ、開発中のスクリーンショットをご覧いただこうと思います。
All right, so let's take a look at some in development screenshots.
Oh, nice.
今回ご紹介するスクリーンショットはいずれも下層からの風景になってます。
So the screenshots that we have here are from the area's lower elevations.
Beautiful.
今までではちょっと作れなかったような景色。
I
Nice to
love
not
the
be able to-
waterfalls. I love those
よく見えて
waterfalls.
るんじゃないかなと思いま
Nice
す。
to not immediately pick out the same
We're
tree
able to
over and over.
create a new type of area that feels very
There's a couple
unique
repeats.
from the areas that we've
Mhm.
created in the past.
They can see,
今回
but
特に
it's
で
nice
す
to not
ね、
just
空
immediately
気感
like
とか、それから光の
see the
表
same
現という
tree
ものに
37
非常に
times.
こだわって開発を進めてます。
And as you can see, special attention has been paid to lighting to create this perfect atmosphere.
It's
そし
almost
て
there's
こち
two
ら、
identical ones next to
昼
each
間
other,
の
but
様子ですね。
And here is the
Looks like
jungle
pretty
in
good.
midday.
大瀑布から流れ落ちた水がいくつもの川となり、支流にこうやって注ぎ込んできていると。
And so the waterfalls from the upper elevations feed the countless small rivers that flow out of the jungle to the sea.
右に見えるのが集落ですね。そして中央の木にもよく見ると、上の方に 建造物があったりするのがわかると思います。
And so on the right, you can see a small village, and even in that tree in the center, you can see a small building located within the tree.
そしてこちら、最後はやや引いた状態の、円形ですね。
And so we've zoomed out a little for this next shot.
まあ見たところ、あまり危険な雰囲気というのは感じられないと思うんですが、果たしてどういった物語になるのか、いろいろ想像していただけると嬉しいです。
So from here, it doesn't look that dangerous, but you all know what lurks in the shadows, so.
さて、ちょっと続いてももう1エリア紹介していきましょう。
All right, so let's move on to our next area.
まずはアートでご覧いただきます。
Starting with some artwork. wait.
Secrets.
What? What?
In-game secret?
Oh, it's a mistake. The bug.
It's a bug. Oh no.
まあ先ほどまでご紹介してきたところと随分雰囲気が変わり、荒野のような雰囲気だと思います。
So this arid desert-like region is completely
This is just a chill vacation, obviously.
Yeah.
まああそこにある巨大
No
な
conflict.
シークレット
There
の
wouldn't be
も
trials
ちろん
or
マップ
salvage.
オブジェクトではないです。
And so we have that big secret. That's not a map object. That's not going to be in the real game if that wasn't obvious.
あのエリアにですね、ものすごく重要なものがあるんですけど、あまりにもスポイラーが激しすぎるので、シークレットって書いといてくれってお願いをしたので、ああなってます。
So yeah, what we have there is something that is very, very pivotal to the story. It's a huge secret, and we didn't want to show it here because we wanted you to experience it in game. So I made sure that they put secret up there.
Dragon.
なので、この、まあ、基調講演などでお見せしてしまうと、まあ、皆さんの楽しみをね、大きく伴ってしまう可能性があるので、
What?
ぜひですね、プレイヤーの皆さん、ご自身で見ていただけたらなと思ってこういう対応をさせてもらってます。
And we want to show a lot of information here, but we also don't want to ruin your game experience. And so for this, because it's such a big secret and it's so exciting, and we want you to experience that in game, we've decided to keep it under wraps for now.
このエリアの名前、シャロニ荒野と言います。
All right, so the name of this area is Shaloni.
トラル大陸中央部に広がる荒野。
So it is a relatively flat, rain-starved region in central Tyrol.
セリン線が発見されたことによって、このエリア、近代化が進んでいます。
But here, civilization is experiencing a boom due to a recent discovery of ceruleum deposits.
まあ、セリン線ってちょっと日本語で言うとね、何ってなると思うんですけど、セリン水の湧き出る泉のことですね。
And so basically, there are these kind of springs where the ceruleum bursts up through the ground.
さあ、この大陸での冒険、だんだんなんか夏休みなのか本当にっていう感じにちょっとなってきたかなと思います。
So again, we mentioned summer vacation before, but the more we see of Tyrol, the more we realize, the less we understand about Tyrol.
じゃあスクリーンショットもまだ開発中ですがお見せしましょう。
All right, but let's take a look at some in development screenshots.
Texas.
かなり広い荒野が広がってますね。
It's just
So yes,
Forza
unlike the
Horizon.
dense jungles
Yeah.
that we showed before, this area is a lot more open.
このエリアはあれですね、バイクのマウントなんかが大変似合いそうですね。
So yeah, it looks like this would be a good place to break out your motorbike mounts.
機械化、それから、技術進歩というのが目覚ましく進んできており、さまざまな人や物との出会いが皆さんを待ち構えています。
So yes, you'll see a lot of newer technology and machines, as well as encounter the people that built them.
先ほどのね、シークレットの部分がね、一番このエリアの特徴なんで。
Yeah, well, I mean, and then like every expansion, kind of having that
Again, as I said before, this
ecosystem.
area also hides a very
Yeah, but it doesn't look like
Everyone.
Boomerang. It looks
Right.
like specifically
この後の
Black
ま
Brush
た情
Station.
報でもちょっとずつ
Well, and then the ceruleum just kind of also kind of ties in, maybe.
この後の基調講演もちょっと見てってください。
So, Izzy, the name of the zone isn't secret. What's behind that art, that mark, is apparently something. Think of Mount Rushmore or something like that. Like, they don't want to show that.
広がっているわけではなく、このエリア、こうした 地域もあってですね、
It's just Koji's
様々
face on a
な
mountain.
文化の融合というのが、行われてます。
Soaking.
Of course, it's not all empty wastes out there. The area features locations such as this one too, that are populated by a variety of peoples.
かなりの、ドラマ性高い物語用意していますので、ストーリー展開にぜひご注目ください。
Right, as for what drama awaits you here, as well as the other areas that we showed today, you'll just have to look forward to it.
I like Jill Game Theory here says lots of train tracks in this game, never any working trains.
There's some cutscenes.
Or the goblin one in the Rival Wings.
友好部族ちょっと紹介してみようかなと思います。
So moving on from areas, next up we'd like to talk a little bit about the type of peoples that you'll meet in Tyrol.
まあこれはね、皆さんちょっと見たことはあるだろうなと。
So this next one, some of you may recognize them.
こちら
The
名
Moblins.
前をモブリン族と言います。
And they are called the Moblins.
エオルセア地域ではゴブリンと呼ばれている部族ですが、基本的には
We have
同
to
一
drink
部
their
族ですね。
moblin
So they
cheese.
strongly resemble the goblins that reside in Eorzea, but they have their own unique characteristics.
ちょっと特徴をご紹介しましょう。
And let's take a look at those characteristics.
まあ、先ほどご紹介したコザマルカに住む、一つの部族です。
So these Moblins mainly reside in the previously mentioned jungles of Kozamauka.
三大州に住まうゴブリン族はメカが大好きでしたね。
So, and unlike the goblins of the three great continents who are expert builders and tinkers,
こちらは調達の達人ということで大きく考え方が異なっているようです。
these Moblins are experts in gathering and procuring items.
彼らとの協調でですね、どんなものづくりが、
Multiple,
行わ
like,
れてい
dungeons and
る
raid
のか
encounters that
楽
have
しみな
resulted
と
in
ころで
trains.
す。プレイヤーの皆さん、
I don't know.
As recently as this expansion, we pull up to
絡
an
んでく
enemy
る
train.
可能性が非常に高いんじゃないかなと思います。
And so, with these Moblins and allies, just think of all the wonderful things that adventurers might create, especially our crafters and gatherers.
では、エリアの追加情報をお届けしてまいりました。
All right, I think that's about enough today. That's all we can say regarding Tyrol.
では、さらに黄金のレガシーの、コンテンツも含めた全体の内容、北米の基調講演おさらいしつつ、新情報を混ぜながら進めていきたいと思います。
Now, I'd like to talk more about the other features and content that await Warriors of Light in Dawn Trail.
I'm not thrilled by the level 100. I'm not
Neither is
gonna
Yoshiki.
pretend. Yeah.
皆さんのおかげで、ついに皆さんのレベルが100に到達することになります。
So as you know, we'll be taking the level cap into triple digit territory, level 100, and that's thanks to you.
皆さん、レベル最後どれぐらいまで行きたいですか？
How far do you want to go? We're at 100 now. How far do you want to go?
2000!
2000.
ねえ、あんまりレベルの桁が上がりすぎてもね。
The UI need more space.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
too many numbers.
EXP,
That's right. The XP bar is just.
せっかく一回ね、桁下げたの
That's
に。
right. We got rid of some of those zeros. So we're gonna have to add.
もちろんクラフターやギャザラーの皆さんもすべてレベルキャップ100に、させていただきます。
And of course, this will be for all jobs, including disciples of the land and hand.
では続いてバトルコンテンツに関してちょっと新情報も交えつつお伝えしていきたいと思います。
All right, next, I want to talk a little bit about some of 7.0's core battle content. We have some new things to show you as well.
まずフィールドのアクティブタイムイベントやそれからモブハント、新しいトレジャーハント、これらすべて、いつも通りしっかりたくさん用意させていただいてます。
So, active time events, the fates, the hunt, treasure hunts, we're going to have all these.
でもちろん新しいダンジョンというのもたくさんあります。
And of course, we're working on many new dungeons as well.
Yep.
ダンジョン
It's a dungeon. This is a dungeon.
ダンジョンの数もですね、これまで以上の、 まあ、同数しっかり用意させていただいてます。制作順調に進んでます。
Okay, and we're going to have at least as many dungeons as we had in the past expansions.
今回はいくつかのダンジョンについてス
The
クリ
one
ーン
at
ショットやアー
91,
トワーク
93,
で
95,
ちょっとさら
97,
にね追加
99,
情報としてお伝えしていこ
we
う
got
と思いま
100.
す。
Right, so next, let's take a look
And
at
an
some art
additional
and
100.
screenshots
And then we
showcasing
added
a
one
few
at
of
100
those
every
dungeons
patch.
in development.
と言いながらこのアートも新情報だよね。
Yeah.
But yeah, this art, this is.
I wonder if they'll do more Criterion like
まず
alongside
ス
of
ク
it
リーンショ
though.
ット1枚目。
All right, off to our first screenshots.
ダンジョン
This is a dungeon.
ダンジョン
This is a dungeon. Dungeon? Area? Dungeon.
It's a dungeon.
It's a dungeon.
Yes.
Okay, as long as you're sure.
So at least as many, possibly more. I guess it depends on if they're counting Criterion. That's how they're gonna get the more. Otherwise, it's gonna be like what Chris said, unless they decide to really change up the game
So yeah,
again.
I
dungeons,
like that
you
they
usually
screw
think
with
like
us on when the
caves,
second
but
trial
it
is.
looks like
I
this
like
one
not
will start
knowing
off
it when
as
it's
a
coming.
river cruise.
まあね、ちょっとどんな戦闘とかね、キャラクター同士の掛け合いとか繰り広げられるのか、今からちょっと楽しみですね。
But I'll let you imagine what kind of battles and player interactions are going to go on.
でもちょっと落ちたくないね。
These
I don't
being
wanna
every
fall
other
in the
level, I
river.
think, is disappointing.
No, not a good idea.
Like put one at 191 and then get us another one at 92, and then we'll gap out till 95. Like
Yeah.
just surprise us.
こちら
And from a leveling standpoint, that's bad. From alts, it's really nice that they're
見える
evenly
かもしれま
spaced.
せんが、こちら実機の、画像になります。
So I know this
Makes
looks a
the
lot like
MSQ less
artwork,
enjoyable.
but this is an actual in-game screenshot.
川
looks like an
登りなの
in-game screenshot.
か、川下
It's
りなの
beautiful.
か、それらを
Yeah,
向
but
か
it
った
looks
先
like
が
an
こん
in-game
な感じ
screenshot.
です。
So yeah, are we going upriver or downriver? Who knows? But at the end of the cruise,
Have you seen the
this is
photos
what
that
it's
were
like.
on display
いや
for the
ア
screenshot
ートに見えるよ
competition?
ね。
It does really look like artwork.
It's wild.
この環境セットアップしている開発者、今回ロンドンのファンフェス来てますんで、後ほど開発パネルでもこういったお話してくれると思います。
So,
Thanks
yeah,
guys for the
the team
31
that
likes on
actually
YouTube. I
worked-
appreciate
one
that.
of the members of the team that actually worked on this, and the environment team is here today, and is going to be up here on stage. So looking forward to meeting and hearing what he has to say about this.
さて、さらに雰囲気一転して全然また変わった、これもダンジョンです。
All right, and now we're somewhere completely different. This also is one of the new dungeons.
これもね、なんかアートに見える、ね。
This is also very, yeah, it looks like art.
こちらは外なのか、それか何かの一部なのか、自然地形と人工物の間に何か紫色の新植物、存在してますね。
So is this somewhere outside or inside? Is it a part of something? Are those natural formations or man-made? And what are those purple things growing everywhere?
先ほどのエリアをもう少し上がったところになるんでしょうか。
And here's another look of the same dungeon, but up from a little higher.
明らかに、雰囲気、遺跡と思われるものがあるんですが、ちょっと雰囲気異様な感じですね。
So yes, we can see some strange architecture that resembles ancient ruins.
これまでに光の戦士の皆さんが冒険してきたどのエリアともちょっと違った印象になっているんではないかと思います。
So yes, this is far different from any place
Clearly a
we've
side of a
journeyed
mountain.
before.
ではダンジョンのお話、最後にですね、開発中の他のダンジョンの、まだちょっと実機はお見せできないんですが、アートワークを2枚ほど持ってきましたので、ちょっとご紹介していこうと思います。
So finally, we have some artwork for 2 more dungeons that we'd like to show you, but you're going to have to use your imaginations to visualize how they're going to turn out in game.
まず1枚目。
Hmm.
So this is our first.
まあこちらまさに It's a dungeon.
It's a dungeon.
It's a dungeon.
It's a dungeon.
Got doors. Speed pull to the
古
door.
代の遺跡のようですが、
Open the door.
しっかりしたこういうね、
Pull
構
the next
造
door.
を持ってる
Open
という
the
ふ
door.
うにね、アート見えますね。
But again, this also has that look of sturdily built ancient ruins to it.
こちらはすでに、レベルデザイナーのレベルデザインが終わり、そのレベルデザインに合わせた、構造をアートチームがこうデザインしてってるからですね。
Okay, but what you see here is not concept art. In fact, the level design for the dungeon is already complete, and this artwork was created to help the modeling team.
本当はですね、こういう端のあたりにですね、アート担当者のこうスタッフからの注意書き、モデリングするための注意書きとか設定がものすごい数書き込まれてるんですが、 さすがにね、お見せするわけにいかないので、ちょっと消してきました。
So now, artwork like this usually has a lot of text written in the margins to help the designers. It's filled with lore and secrets. We just kind of cut that out because, to avoid spoilers.
そしてもう一枚。
More
Cool.
cerulean.
Surprising one.
Cool.
メカ
Cool,
ニカ
cool,
ル。
cool.
Summer vacation.
Looks like a cloning chamber.
Summer vacation.
Summer vacation.
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe cold capsule.
Oh,
Yes,
say
yes.
cold because it's so hot.
Maybe.
Okay.
こちらもダンジョン、しかもメインストーリーに登場するダンジョンなんですが、あまりのね、機械文明の発展にちょっとびっくりします。
Yes,
That's
this
my
is a
cooling for
Dungeon
my
7.0
graphics
main
card.
Scenario, but again, unlike the nature that we've seen before, this has a lot of mech.
詳細な解説は差し控えますが、やはりこの 7.0 の冒険、単なる光の戦士の夏休みでは終わらなさそうな気配が漂ってます。
So yes, it looks like Dawn Trail is going to be a little bit more than your ordinary summer vacation.
Alligans.
ではこのダンジョンに登場する、強敵、ボスの一体をちょっとご紹介しようかなと思います。
All right, so now that we've seen where you're going to fight, let's find a little bit about more about who you're going to fight.
まあ前回はね、透滅戦の相手を表示しましたが、今回ね透滅戦ではないんですが、
So last time in Las Vegas, we showed one of the raid bosses.
バリガレマンダに続いてもう一体大型のモンスターの紹介となります。
And this one is not a raid boss like Valagarmanda that we showed in Las Vegas, but we have a very important and large enemy to show you.
名前をですね、今回ご紹介するのはエリミネーターという、
Eliminator.
もうどんどん夏休み。
Yeah, we haven't got like the
Yes, we're getting a little bit
primal. I guess this would be a
further away from
primal.
summer vacation again. Yeah?
まあさてどんな
Like a
形
trial
で
boss?
出会い、
Yeah.
どん
Weapon
な
series?
戦いになるのか伏せておきますが、
Like-
こういった今まで多分皆さんが黄金のレガシーでちょっと想像してたのとだんだん変わってきたんじゃないかなと思います。
Now, we can't tell you much about it yet or exactly how you meet, but it's obvious that we're going against expectations for Dawn Trail so far.
このエリミネーターね、機械なのかそもそも生物なのか、ダンジョンのアートワークに続いてね、だんだん謎が深まっていく基調講演になってるかなと思います。
Again, it's hard to tell if this is a machine or if it is alive or something in between. Yeah?
あ
It looks like the weapon series.
じゃあ続いて、
Yeah.
コンテンツサポーター。まあこちらアップデートは行っていきますが、もちろん今回もすべてのメインストーリーのダンジョン
Duty
対
support
応させ
upgrade.
ていただ
Are
い
we
てま
going
す。
to 8-mans?
Okay, next up we have our duty support feature, and you'll be happy to know that this feature will be made available for all of the instance dungeons for 7.0's main scenario.
Right.
かなり新しく、コンテンツサポ
But
ータ
are we
ーと
gonna
して
go back
加
and
わ
do
る
the
キ
8
ャラクタ
mans?
ーも多いです。
Right.
And of course, there's going to be a lot of new characters that are going to be included in this duty support
We
feature.
talked about wanting
たくさ
to.
んの
That didn't mean he was going
作ら
to.
なきゃいけなくて、ゲームデザイナーたちすごい四苦八苦しながら開発進んでます。
But that means our game designers and programmers are having to work a lot on all of the new AI.
そして多数
New
の
gear and
新装備
recipes.
新クラフト、もちろんギア多数用意しております。
And with all these new dungeons and enemies, the Warrior of Light will need some proper new gear, and we have a lot of new recipes to make sure that you're properly kitted.
おしゃれがね気になる皆さんもぜひご期待ください。
And of course, we'll be introducing a lot of fashionable items as well.
ではちょっと新しい装備のアートワーク見てみましょう。
So let's take a closer look at some artwork for these new items.
まずギャザラークラフターもね専用装備当然すべて一新されます。
All right, Disciples of the Land in Hand will, of course, be getting new job-specific gear as well.
モデリングも第一次グラフィックスアップデートを行った状態で順調に進んでいます。どのように実機で見られるかご期待ください。
So we're currently in the modeling phase of development with our new graphical update. So for now, you're going to have to imagine how these designs will look when rendered in game.
It's very steampunky.
そしてこちらはジョブ専用装備の一部ですね。
And here we have some job-specific gear for the Disciples of War and Magic.
まあどれがどのジョブかは言わなくても大丈夫だね。
We don't need to tell you what jobs these are for, right?
今回もジョブ専用装備はですね、冒険のその地域の、特徴デザインにあまり寄せず、そのジョブのイメージというのをストレートに、書き起こすようにというふうに、ディレクションしてます。
Okay, instead of designing the gear to match more of the geographical or cultural feel of Tyrol, we decided to take a much more straightforward approach with their design.
では続いて、新たな生活系大規模コンテンツ
Lifestyle content.
So, as I mentioned back in Las Vegas, we are planning some
55 and older.
extensive new lifestyle content for Dawn Trail.
That's what lifestyle communities are.
シリ
They're all
ーズに
55
お
and
いても
better.
ですね、石ガールド復興とか、それから無人島開拓に続く新しい、生活系の大規模コンテンツをお届けしていく予定です。
This will be new content that'll be featured alongside existing content such as the Ishgardian Restoration and Island Sanctuary.
なんとかですね、この場で発表したかったんですが、もう少し企画の詳細を詰め
Let's
たい
get
と
loose with
いう
midcore.
ことで、残念ながら詳細までは今日お伝えできないんですが、日本のファンフェスでは、内容をお届けできるかと思います。
So the plan was to show you that new content here, but the team in charge didn't think it was quite ready and wanted just a little bit more time. So we're going to be putting off the big reveal until Tokyo. So we have to wait a little bit longer.
開発チー
Tokyo's
ム頑
getting
張っ
a
て
big
る
show
ので
here.
許してください。
The dev team is hard at work, so please forgive them.
ありがとうございます。皆さんの拍手でね、今めっちゃ日本で頑張ってくれてると思います。
All right, they just heard your cheering, and so now they're like, oh, gotta get back to work. Gotta get
ありがとうございます。
Thanks.
ただ今回の、生活系の大規模コンテンツ、前回ね無人島開拓は一人で遊ぶものっていう形でしたが、今企画しているのは皆さん多人数で、遊んでいく盛り上がっていくというコンテンツの企画内容になってますので、また詳細の発表をねご期待いただければと思います。
So while Island Sanctuary was more solo content, this new content that we have planned for Dawn Trail is going to be something that you can enjoy with a lot of people.
Interesting.
さて、では各種バトルコンテンツもご紹介しましょう。
All right, we mentioned
New variant dungeons, yeah.
but we have a lot more in stall.
I wonder if that's going to happen with 7-0, so that way you finish and then it's there, as opposed to having to wait
We'll be
till
adding new variant
a while.
dungeons, a new 8-player raid, and a new ultimate raid that will be just as challenging as those that become before.
そして当然ながら
That's a different way of phrasing
ア
that.
ライアンスレイドも
They
新
said
シ
that
リーズ始まり
The
ます。
second
And of
ultimate would
course,
not be as
we
hard as the
can't
first.
forget our
And
alliances out there.
今日ここではですね、そ
Kind
の
of wreck
次
people.
のアライアンスレイドが一体どんなものになるのかご紹介したいと思います。
And so here in London, we are excited to finally announce our latest Alliance Raid series.
Echoes of Vanadil!
cool.
Oh, hell yes! In alliance with Final Fantasy XI? What the hell does that mean? Is Final Fantasy XI getting something? Ho, 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 ho! Yes!
Thank you.
Thank you! 次のアライアンスレイ
Cool.
ドシリーズのタイトルはエコーズ・オブ・バナディールというタイトルでお届けします。
So our newest Alliance Raid is Echoes of Vanadil.
That is awesome.
MMORPG として大先輩であるファイナルファンタジー11運営開始からすでに21年、その運営20周年を記念して我々、次なるアライアンスレイドシリーズ
What is Yoshiki's current role with
は
11?
そのファイナルファンタジー11の世界を
He's
垣間見る
in
冒険を
charge of
お
it,
届け
but
したいと思います。
it's like a
So to
super small
celebrate
team.
over 20 years of Final Fantasy XI, we are turning to our MMORPG Senpai
Yes.
and stepping into Vanadil to get a glimpse of this wonderful, exciting world.
果たしてどんなストーリー、どんなボ
Wait,
スが登場
what
す
do they
る
mean
のか、
stepping
ぜ
into
ひ
it
ご
like
期待く
though?
ださい。
As for what story will feature, who you will meet, what bosses you will fight, we can't tell you that.
もちろん
Dadgum, that's awesome.
11から続くね、このファイナルファンタジーシリーズ
What
の
level of
長い
collab
夢を
is
楽しん
this?
でい
Is
た
this
だ
a
け
I don't
る
know
new
that-
level
そして今
collab?
ね
Oh,
ファイナル
gosh.
ファンタジー11遊んでいただいている方
Final
にも
Fantasy XI
楽しんで
getting
いただける
something?
内容に仕上げていこうと思ってます。
But we can guarantee that it'll be something that longtime fans of Final Fantasy XI and even players of fans right now will be able to truly enjoy.
さあ、じゃあちょっと質問していいですか？
So, speaking of which, I have a question for all of you.
11今もやってるんだよなって。
How many people out there are still playing 11?
おー、ありがとうございます。いやいや、もう11はめちゃくちゃやったよ。今は14やってるけど、11めちゃくちゃやったよっていう。
And so, how about people that, I'm playing 14 right now, so I don't have time for them, but I played a lot of 11 back in the day.
Yeah.
あー、すごい。ありがとうございます。ありがとうございます。長らくですね、我々スクエアニックスの
Oh, please be a dual sub announcement.
So yes,
This
thank
would be
all of you
mind-blowing.
who've been
Xbox
supporting
at
Square Enix through our
NA.
live RPGs for such a long time.
おそらくですね、配信を見てくださってる
And then-
方々も大いに今ね、手を挙げてくださってるんじゃないかなと思います。
And I bet a lot of people watching on the stream as well have been raising their hands.
ぜひぜひご期待ください。
So again, please look forward to it.
Oh man.
Oh,
Oh wow. That's
Well,
exciting.
Get a big announcement every fan
で
fest.
はさらに、コンテンツ継続してアップデートしていきますよというお話をちゃんとしておこうと思
I
います。
should quit this game
Of course,
more
we're
often,
gonna
Yoshi
continue our
Peak.
updates of
It's
existing
like,
content as well
who
during the
quit?
7.x
What was his
series.
complaints?
もう一個一個は説明しませんが、
Oh, dude.
I'm not gonna explain each of them
Vanadil
here,
in Final
but
Fantasy 14
you
is
get the idea.
incredible. Blue Mage update,
これら
plans
は
for Deep
一
Dungeon.
個ずつ言いません。引き続き 7.x でも
Oh,
大量のアップデートをお
man.
届け
Limited, come on.
していく予定です。
So yes, you can expect updates of all the content you see here.
そして、まあ、これだけじゃなくてですね、久しぶりに、こちらも予定してます。
But we have something even more special.
Wait, come on.
And
A new limited job!
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
baby!
There it is.
Woo! Thank
同
you!
士リミテッドジョブとして登場していますが、その第2弾、新しい次
Let's
なるリミテッドジョブと
Please give us the
いうものの開
name.
発を今進め始めてます。
all right, to go alongside Blue Mage, we are currently working on an all-new second limited job.
Come on.
まあ実装まで、まあちょっと 7.x シリーズの後半で実装の予定なの
Where-
で、ちょっとしばらくお待ちいただ
What's the
く
name?
ことにはなりますが、
But again, its release isn't currently planned until the latter half of the 7.x series.
Okay.
まあ、どんなジョブになるのかちょっと聞いてみようかな。
But we
2025
do hope to tell
sometime.
you more about it soon. But we're gonna kind of ask you, what do you think it's gonna be?
Yes.
Geomancer.
I think it's Beastmaster.
Beastmaster.
ビースマスター。
Puppet Master.
ビーストマスター
Blitzballer
結構いる。ちょっとコージ聞いてみてよ。他にどんなのあるか。
Anything else? Fisher?
Fisher.
いやいやいやいや。
We already.
I really want it to be Beastmaster, and I want to train my pets as an extension on
remember.
Island
What is
Sanctuary
it?
and breed them.
カラクリシ。
Puppet.
パペットマスター。ああ、なるほどなるほど。
Oh yeah. Puppet Master.
いやー、そうあんまり言うとさ、なんかそれっぽくなっちゃうから。
Beast Master.
ベースマスター。なあまあでもやっぱりパーティープレイではなかなか、
Is he gonna tell us?
実現できない、
I hope so.
遊びとセットで、
It's been a
新しい
big
リミテッドジョ
tease.
ブ開発していきますので、まあ、ぜひどんなものになるか、お待ちいただければと思います。
But yeah, we're really excited. We're working on a lot of different ideas. Something that we can do that's separate from party play, similar to how it is with the Blue Mage. So yeah, please look forward to it.
まあそんなに遠くないタイミングで、どんなリミテッドジョブになるかお
Alright,
伝えしていけるんじゃないかなと思ってます。
Speculation station, man.
While we can't
Oh.
say any more here, we do hope to reveal more information very, very soon.
So, Japanese fan fest.
各種コンテンツアップデート、
I get
ここ
two
まで
job
触れ
reveals.
てきましたが、今回もですね、
Well, yeah.
グラフィックスアップデートの、進捗についてこの場でちょっとお伝えしたい
I
と
mean,
思い
the
ます。
second half, they could have waited to
Alright, so
reveal
now
it
that
till
we've
the next
talked
fan
about our
fest,
content
like the
updates, I'd
the
like
one
to move
for
on to the planned
April.
first graphical update.
前回のファンフェス途中経過お伝えしてますが、その途中経過に対して皆さんからのフィードバック、いただいてます。そこでさらに調整しましたよというのをちょっとお伝えしたいと思って持ってきてます。
Okay, So after showing everyone our progress with the graphical update back in Las Vegas, we got a lot of player feedback. Over the past few months, we've taken that feedback and we've made even further adjustments.
メインキャラクターの種族、アウラだよっていう方。
So how many people here have an Aura character?
持ってきたのはこのアウラの。
All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about the auras, horns, and scales.
できるだけね、皆さんのイメージ損なわないよう
I
に
went through this and it made a huge
行って
difference.
るグラフィックスアップデートなんですが、
Again, we've been
Maybe we made all
tweaking a
the
lot with our new
races.
graphical update.
Yeah.
中でも前回途中経過注目されたのアウラ族の角とかそれから鱗の表現っていうものに、いろんなフィードバックいただきました。
So yes, our main goal was to introduce these fine adjustments that won't feel too drastic and ruin that unique look that we've all gotten used to. And if you recall, this includes tweaks to polishing things like the aura horns and scales.
まず
Okay.
次にお見せするのが前回北米でお見せした途中経過のスクリーンショットです。
Okay, so first off, we're going to start by showing you what we showed you back in Las Vegas.
これがね前回お伝えしたもの。
All right, and this is what we showed you last time.
Right.
角の表面とか鱗に結構光の反射があってちょっとエナメルっぽい質感だった自分たちのイメージとちょっと違ったっていうフィードバックも、結構議論として寄せられてました。
So back in Las Vegas, the horns and scales that we showed you were very reflective and had a very strong enamel type of feel, and it was not something that a lot of people had expected.
これはこれでやっぱりこう反射があるので、クオリティとしては比較的高く見えやすい気はするんですが、
And with this reflectivity, I mean, it looks very high quality, so it was good for showing off that improved in quality of the horns.
我々が 3.0 で、企画した時のアウラの元のイメージに近づけるようにさらに、継続して調整を続けてきました。
But it didn't really match our vision of what we wanted the aura to look like from our original design back at 3.0, so we continued tweaking.
すごい微妙なのでメインキャラクターアウラの人ちょっと一生懸命画面見てください。
All right, and so this is where we are. It's a very, very small change, so look very, very closely. Okay. And
これが前回
this is before,
アフター。
after.
Okay.
All right. Yeah.
すいませんね。
Keep up the good
It
work.
wasn't even more exciting.
光沢がね強く出ていた質感をちょっと落として本体の色へ近づけてより馴染ませるということをやってます。
So we're continuing our work on lowering that reflectivity to be able to get the horn color to something more natural and closer to what we originally intended.
前回お見せした他の種族というのもですね前回のものがフィックスではなく、皆さんのその感想フィードバック見てどんどんギリギリまで細かくクオリティアップや調整を続けています。
So this goes for all of the updates for the other races as well. We've been receiving a lot of feedback, and what we showed you in Las Vegas wasn't the final product, but a work in progress.
ちなみになんですけど、
Okay.
このスクリーンショットのこのアウラの女性のね首にちょっとライン入ってるんですけど、
And so some of you with some very good eyes maybe notice a little line on the neck
これ
of
ちょ
the
っと
female aura.
急いで首くっつけたんでちょっと
And so basically when creating this, we had to rush and we just took ahead and popped it on a body.
これは大丈夫治るんで、
We'll fix this. Don't worry.
Yeah.
次なんですが、さらに細かいお話をちょっとさせてください。
So we talked about something very detailed, and so for next we're going to talk about something even more detailed.
ファイナルファンタジー14、9番と呼ばれているオリジナルのファイナルファンタジー14が13年前にリリースされ、その時から、より快適に遊べるようにという形で R エルムリボーンが作られています。
So as many of you know, the original Final Fantasy XIV was released almost 13 years ago. Then a couple years after that, A Realm Reborn was released to improve upon the original.
1.0 から遊んでるよ。
How many people here have been playing since 1.0? Legacy.
Thank you. で、その申請版を作るにあたってですね、やはりできるだけ短い期間で作り上げていくということで、Q14 のそのモデリングっていうのをうまくアレンジしてここまでやってきたという歴史が実はあります。
So when making the move from 1.0 to A Realm Reborn, we didn't have a lot of time. So we ended up having to repurpose some of the original character models for A Realm Reborn.
今回グラフィックスアップデートでは、それらの調整を行う際に、この9番から使っていたモデルというのにも改めて全てに手を入れて、完全に新しいものへと進化させることにしました。
And so now, to coincide with the graphical update, we had to revisit our use of these older 1.0 models.
これこそめちゃくちゃ細かいので、ちょっとよく見てください。
Okay, this is going to get really, really detailed, so look carefully.
ララフェルですね。
Okay, so we have our Lalafell.
これ現在のララフェルです。
This is the Lalafell that's in game right now.
可愛いですね。
And of course, cute as ever.
ちょっとですね、ここに注目してください。
So I want you to focus on this part of the face.
そのあたり。
I would love it if they just trolled us and just put something.
Giant, like double cleft chin, full
キャ
jawline,
ラクターモデルを
chiseled.
かつ高品質に見せるために、ローポリゴンを実はですね、ほっぺたの下にすごい
Beard?
四角いポリゴンを無理やり入れてですね、そこで顎の影のラインをつけるみたいな、すごいなんて言ったらい
They
い
give him a beard, that'd be amazing.
みたいなことを実はやってます。
So, to ensure character models weren't a burden on the system, but also maintain a high visual quality, we implemented the use of these low polygon shapes. And the remnants of those can kind of be seen today in around the cheek and the jawline, those straight lines.
ただ今回キャラクターの肌の質感を上げて、より影がリアルに滑らかに表示されていくためにですね、ノーマルマップと呼んでいる顔の凹凸データみたいなものっていうのも全て改めてきれいに作り直しています。
Okay, so with the graphical update, however, we went back and we retooled and recreated what is called our normal map data, which in other words is basically this data that's meant to represent the bumps and dips and irregularities of those textures.
そのためですね、その新しいグラフィックスの状態に、この旧の状態のモデルをそのテクニックを残したままにしてしまう
Remember
と。
when they first showed us like the first graphic thing? They said this is not what it is. Like that was the first thing they did. That's what they need to do here.
Okay, however, by doing that, it caused some conflicts with the existing low polygon data that we'd been using since 1.0, creating even these more mysterious bumps and dips in shadows.
わかるかな？
Can you tell?
わかる？
No, it's so minor.
There, and that's what happened.
It's
こ
so
こにね、
minor.
Okay.
すごい微妙に外側に尖ったポリゴンが影の邪魔をしてるんです。
So you can see kind of there's these bumps on the chin that are kind of affecting the shadows.
いや、わかんねえよっていう反応だな、これ。
And everybody's like, I don't know, what?
I thought we were looking at the update for a second there. I was like, oh, okay.
How
I
many
look
people
up and I
use
see
Lalafels?
previous.
皆さん自分のララフェルが一番可愛いと思ってますよね。
And so, of course, you think your Lalafell is the cutest, right?
Mhm.
まあなのでだからこそこう
But
いう
now we have a
細かい
system that's going to rate your
違
lullaby.
いっていうのをまあなくさないようにできればしていきたい。ただこれからのクオリティアップデートを考えていくと、どうしてもその味として残していたそのローポリゴンのテクニックみたいなものを取っていかないとさらに綺麗にはならないので、まあそういう細かいところまで調整させてもらってますっていうのが今回のお知らせです。
And so I know that some people may look at these kind of imperfections born from these old techniques as something that makes Lalafells. And we didn't want to get rid of them all because we know that that's what makes the Lalafell special. But moving with this graphical update and having something that matches that, we decided it was time to at least touch them up.
これが最新です。
And so this is the new version.
影がめっちゃ自然になったの分かります？
So you can tell that like the shadow is now much more natural.
すごい細かいんですけど。
It's very, very, you have to look very, very closely.
いやまあまあ
I don't think that deserved a clap. I'm sorry.
思わなくもないんですけど
I mean, you're probably all wondering, it's like, could we have not done this like at a different panel? Did it have to be at the keynote?
すべてのプレイヤーの皆さんのキャラクターを何としても今
I appreciate that they're giving an
皆さんが持ってい
update.
るキャ
It's
ラクター
not
イメー
the
ジのま
moment
ま
that like
よりクオリティアップをさせていく
is
ため
life
に
changing.
担当のアーティストたちも
This feels like a step down after the here's a new limited job and Vanna deal for me. Like high, low. Will they pull it up in the end?
まあそういうことを日夜やっているので、ぜひグラフィックスアップデート楽しみにしててくださいというお話です。
But again, we wanted to show you this especially because we wanted to show you just how hard we are working on this graphical update. We understand that you all love your characters and we don't want to change your characters, but we do want to make them look a lot better. And so we're working on these tiniest of issues to improve it. I'm there looking at everything. If I see even a hint of a polygon, I'm like, no polygon. And so again, this is the extent of the work that we're doing, and we wanted to show that with you here today.
Baden.
まあでもこれだけだとね、いくらなんでもちょっと細かすぎるだろう
Yeah,
という
I
ことで
agree with Chad. They could have spent 90 seconds on it and be like,
Let's talk about the super tiny technical issues. Let's talk about something easy.
Mm-hmm.
グラフィックスアップデートで、帽子と頭装備とですね、メガネが同時に装備できるようになるキャラクター集めてみました。
And so, the glasses. Helmets, glasses, what's easier than that?
Cool.
each flounder with the resub tier 1 at 11 months of support. Good morning and thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
All right, so development on that first graphical update is proceeding smoothly.
これまでの13年にわたる膨大なセット、アーティストたちがですね、必死に調整をしてくれてます。
Our artists are working tirelessly to improve all of our 13 years of graphical assets.
このグラフィックスアップデートやファイナルファンタジー14のグラフィックスがどんなテクニックを使って作られているのか、このファンフェスの開発パネルでも実際にツールの映像などを交えて、お見せしていこうと思います。
So for those of you who want to know more about this topic of graphical update, as well as the kind of techniques that the team uses to create Final Fantasy XIV, we have this great development panel coming up a little bit later that will show you all about how we do this and show you even some of the tools that we use.
かなり面白い内容になっていますので、ぜひ開発パネルの方にもご注目ください。
It's going to be really interesting, so we hope you look forward to it and are here to watch it with us.
では、
Okay.
どうしてもね、スペック上がっちゃうので、改め
Yep.
てちょっとおさ
This
らい
is
して
the
おき
same as
ま
last
す。
time.
All right, while we're here, we want to remind you one more time about the new minimum and recommended requirements.
もう準備したよっていう人。
How many people are ready to go?
お、
All right.
I am.
半分ぐらいは大丈夫です、
About
ね。
half, that's good.
そこまでめちゃくちゃ高くしないようにしてますので、ぜひすいませんが、よろしくお願いしま
We
す。
haven't raised it too much, but please understand. Thank you.
はい。では、残りの時間、この先 7.0 までに、アップデートしていく内容の、追加情報をお届けしていければと思います。
Before we went live, I made sure Mario Wonder was set up for Maddie because I knew she was going to get up early and ask to play. And I'm like, yeah, go play some Mario.
Isn't it like 5 a.m.?
まあ、まずは、
Yeah, but she's my kid, dude. Like, I did the same thing.
All right, first off, we have the open beta test for the
Here we go.
Xbox version.
Playing 4D chess here.
Beginning with February, there it is.
There it is.
0.55, 0.58, 0.59, something like that.
And our test is scheduled to begin in mid-January and continue through February.
Yep, perfect. So that means launch March.
7.0、黄金のレガシーより前に Xbox バージョンも正式サービスへ、移行させていただきます。
This is again to find problems before the release of 7.0 and smooth all of those out so that we have a smooth launch.
Wait, before 7.0, so they're going to just launch it with 7.0?
いただきつつ 7.0 の冒険に、Xbox ファンの
Well,
皆さん
just like the
備え
PS5
ていただ
version
ければ
didn't
と思います。
launch like it
So all of our Xbox users out there,
got in
we
beta.
welcome you to join the test and help us make the game great.
Sweet.
では続いて、 新しい7.0、7.0じゃないや、6.5X で実装されるコンテンツ。
And I see a couple people joining us late asking about the new class. Yes, the Viper has been
So now
announced.
for our next announcement of 6.5x content, we have this special video. Roll it.
Special 6.x content. Oh, this is the Fall Guys.
All right.
Nothing on the female Harath yet.
Which I feel like if they get a limited job and another job at the next FanFest, female Roth has to be today, right?
Yeah.
Make it like the Xbox announcement, and one more thing.
If you guys haven't liked the stream, let's see if we can get to 50 likes on the YouTube stream as just our general goal. October 31st is 651.
というわけで、大
Cool.
変お待たせしました。ファイナルファンタジー14
Right.
ゴールドソ
2
ー
weeks.
サにいよいよフォールガイズが実装となります。
All right, you've been waiting a long time for this. Fall Guys will finally be available in the gold saucer.
パッチ 6.51
I wouldn't say I've been waiting for this for a long time, but
実装日出てますね。
It's definitely fun.
10月31日パッチ 6.51 リリースとなります。
All right, and as it says here, it's planned for release on October 35th, patch 6.51.
All right. Give me a lady
す
lion
ぐだね。
Yes,
and send it.
just a week.
今回動画で、ご覧いただいた通り、フォールガイズのエッセンスを、入れつつ、フォールガイズチームにも監修してもらいながら、ファイナルファンタジー14独自の味付けを行ったコラボレーションアトラクションとなっています。
So as you saw in the trailer, this collaboration will maintain that Fall Guys aesthetic. We had people from the Fall Guys dev team help us out, make sure that we followed that. But it will also feature this unique Final Fantasy XIV spin on all the frenetic Fall Guys gameplay we know and love.
こちらのコンテンツ、24人まで同時にプレイすることが可能で、もちろんマッチングにも対応させていただいてます。
This content is designed for groups of 24 players, with, of course, random party matching for players who don't arrive with their own alliance.
でこちらのフォールガイズなんですが、ちょっと特徴がありまして、開催が、不定期というか、何ヶ月かおきに開催されてしばらくお休みして、開催されてしばらくお休みしてという、数ヶ月おきにオープンとクローズを、繰り返していく予定です。
Okay, so one unique characteristic with this content is that it's not always going to be open. There will be periods of time where it is available and then period of times when it's not available. And we'll be repeating that over a cycle.
どうしてもそうしないと一気にねやったらまた人が他のところ行っちゃってみたいなことになるので、定期的にやっていきますので、あまりね焦らずに皆さんの時間のある時に開催と合わせてやってってくれればと思います。
Again, we want to keep the balance between the two games and keep that fair. So we're going to have, again, times on and times off so you can enjoy the Fall Guys content and then go back to other content.
もちろん多数のオリジナル報酬ご用意しておりますので、ぜひプレイして
No worries, man.
入れてみてください。
And of course, there will be a great deal of unique prizes for those who participate and win. So please look forward to it all.
I'm just hanging out for that last minute, like Xbox style announcement.
Right.
Like the 1 hour was about what I needed. So
we're 23 minutes over.
Shadows on a Lalafell's chain.
We have one final big announcement for
One final big
quest that's going to be appearing in the 6.5x series.
こちらも動画でまずはご紹介したいと思います。
We have a video to introduce this big announcement as well, so roll it.
Final Fantasy 16 crossover.
Already?
Yeah. Mhm. Oh, how cool. Torgal mount, maybe. Let's go. Oh, and a and a Torgal pup minion. Oh, that's fantastic.
ありがとうございます。
Can you pet that dog?
You
Oh,
better
pet
be
that-
able to pet that
Oh,
dog.
pet that dog.
というわけでですね、ファイナルファンタジーシリーズ最新作16とのクロスオーバークエストのお知らせです。
That's right. We can
Pet
finally announce
that
our Final
dog.
Fantasy 14, Final Fantasy 16 crossover event.
When?
I'm
When will
hoping
there be
it's
ファイナルファン
multiple?
タジー16
hoping it's next
の
year.
プロデューサーの吉田さんから OK が出ましたんで、
So yeah, I asked the producer on Final Fantasy 16. You might know him, Naoki Yoshida. He said it was okay. So here we go.
頑張って作りますと。
That's right.
この永遠の旅路という物語、
Yeah,
フ
pet that dog.
ァイナルファンタジー16の主人公であるクライブ・ロズフィールドと光の戦士の出会いの物語となってます。
All right. It's called The Path Infernal, and of course, will feature 16's protagonist, Clive Rosfield, fighting alongside the Warriors of Light.
もちろんまだまだファイナルファンタジー16未プレイドという方もいらっしゃると思いますし、PS5 版今年の冬に買うよと、PC 版出たら買うよというふうに待ってらっしゃる方もいると思いますので、あまり過剰な16のネタバレにならないよう仕上げておきました。
Again, we've written the story so that it doesn't spoil too much of 16 for those players who have yet to play Final Fantasy.
Because you didn't put it on PC. Let's go.
This Christmas, or maybe waiting for the PC version. But there's enough in it so that everyone should have a lot of fun.
先ほど動画でご覧いただいた通り、
Yeah.
16で大人気であるトルガルという、
That's why I thought the collab was too early, because I thought they would wait to use it to push the PC version.
ご用意しております。
And I bet you all saw the Torgal goodies in that teaser trailer. Yeah. Rest assured, there'll be a lot of unique loot for this collab, including gear.
オートコンボくれ。確かにね、オートコンボコラボレーションで出てきたらちょっと面白い。
That would be great. That's a good idea. Having those auto combos in there.
でもそのリングつけるとアイテムレベル下がるよ。
Oh yeah, but if you do put on the rings of the timely rings, then your item level is going to go down. So I don't know.
ぜひですね、ある意味物語の導入に近い、それほどね、壮大な物語というよりは16の世界を垣間見るような冒険になっています。
Yeah, I finished. I beat Starfield, so I'm gonna go back and finish Final Fantasy 16. So I'll feel good.
にもご期待しつつ、両方14も16も楽しんでいただければ嬉しいですと。ファイナルファンタジー16のプロデューサーの吉田さんからコメントを預かってきております。
So again, we'd like you to think of this collaboration as kind of an introduction to the world of Final Fantasy 16 for all of our Final Fantasy 14 players. We can't wait for you to get your hands on this new content, and we're currently developing alongside Final Fantasy 16 DLC and the PC version. And of course, we got the okay from the producer, and he told us that it is okay to go. So
There's a fight where these disappear off of a certain character. That's where I've left off. That's where and that reaction I posted was insane. I was like,
okay, so next up we have a final announcement.
a final announcement.
クラウドデータセンターというもの
Cloud Danish stress test, okay? Hey, slide. We talked about this earlier.
All right, as I talked about recently, we have a cloud server.
Lady Lions?
Cloud data
Made Lady
center
Lion on the
stress
cloud
test
servers?
coming up.
今まで、皆さんがプレイしてくださっている、データセンターというのは物理で、出来上がってるんですが、今回クラウドというたくさんの、マシンをつなぎ
This is
合わ
about
せ
how long I
て
thought this announcement
動
would be.
的に、
Yeah.
大きくしたり小さくしたりできる、それをクラウドってよく呼ぶんですけど、それによってサーバーの拡張性が柔軟になるっていうクラウドデータセンターでプレイヤーの皆さんにぜひテストをお願いしたいです。
Approximately Thanksgiving.
All right, basically, up until now, all of our data centers have been using physical servers. And we want to do this test with the cloud servers to make it easier to expand these. And so, to help do this, we need your help with the test.
5年前から検証スタートして、特にこの3年かなり、一生懸命いろんな企業さんと組んで構築してきたんですけど、
Come on, man.
クラウドデータセンターでプレイしたとき、実際にはどんな負荷がかかるのか、どんな問題が出るのか、ぜひ洗い出しをさせてください。
So we have spent the past several years exploring this possibility of expanding our data centers via the cloud servers, and we're at a point now that we need your help to help us with, find out any kind of things and issues that may occur.
これからもファイナルファンタジー14どんどん拡張していくためにぜひ皆さんのお手伝いお力をお貸しいただきたいです。
Again, we would deeply appreciate your participation as it will help us continue to expand our game and our community.
その概要こちらになります。
So we're going to talk a little bit about what this test entails.
東海岸で、実際にクラウドデータセンターを行うんですが、アメリカのただヨーロッパ側からのテストもぜひお願いしたいです。
Newly created characters
that's what we
only.
conducted via our North American East Coast
Why would
data
you
center.
not
That
let
said,
people put
we
the
encourage
code
players
for-
North
from
American
all over
East
the world
Coast.
here, Japan, to join the test.
そうですね。もちろん日本の方もぜひよろしくお願いします。
That's right. Players from Japan as well, you're welcome to join.
新規キャラクターのみ、作成可能でテスト終了時に申し訳ありません。データは一旦ワイプさせていただきます
All right, so we're going to be asking players to create new characters for the test.
50
but unfortunately, we're gonna have to
million
wipe
gil.
those characters after the test is over.
その他いくつかちょっと制約はあるんですが、キャラクターを作った際にですね、メインクエストや各ジョブのレベルをアップさせる冒険録、このキャラクターにプレゼントさせていただきます。
And as you can see, there are several other restrictions, but to help players jump right into the test right away, we will be offering Tales of Adventure for all the main scenario and all the main jobs.
ギルも5000万ギルお渡しします。
I'm also going to give you 50 million gil.
ぜひ皆さんでですね、皆さんは自由にいろんなコンテンツをマッチングしてプレイしていただければいいだけです。
Again, we won't be asking players to play a certain way. We just need to have you come in and enjoy as much content as possible.
はい、ぜひ皆さんで様々なコンテンツプレイしていただけると大変助かります。
And again, we hope that you all join us in this test.
どうか皆さんのお力ぜひ14のためにお貸しください。
Again, this is for 14, this is for our future, and we hope to see you join the test.
さあ、僕の基調講演もいよい
Last
よ
final
終わろう
announcement
とし
again.
ておりますの
Round
で
three.、
今回このドントレール黄金のレガシーもちろん
They had a final
ファイナル
announcement
ファンタジー
and
シリ
one
ー
last
ズ
final
イメージ
announcement.
アート数々ねお書きいただいている天野先生にも今回ドントレーラーイメージイラストを書いていただいてます。
All right, so before we wrap things up this morning, there's one last slide I'd like to show you.
Yep.
All new Dawn Trail artwork by
Final-
the one and
final
only
announcement.
Yoshitaka Amano.
Please
ファイナルファンタジー3
look
を、ね、
forward to
ちょっ
it.
と彷彿させるような
Something about this artwork reminds me a lot of the original Final Fantasy III artwork.
天野先生も、非常にノリノリでいつもファイナルファンタジー14イメージイラストを描いていただいておりますので今回もものすごいスピードで仕上げていただきました。
And Amano-san really enjoys making artwork for Final Fantasy XIV, and he created this in a short amount of time.
さて、欧州ファンフェスティバル、スタートを飾る基調講演として、僕の、トークセッションでしたが、今日お話しできるのはここまでとなります。
All right, that's all for today's keynote. I can't say any more.
この先の
Except for one last slide.
最後のいろいろ隠された情報をすべてぶちまけていくのは、日本のファンフェスで行わせていただきたいと思います。
January 7th.
But I will be able to talk more when we see you again next at our keynote at Tokyo Fan Festival.
Okay.
ありがとうございました。
Thank you.
Cool.
では、このままオープニングセレモニーの方に移っていきたいと思います。
All right, so now it's time to move into our opening
All right.
ceremony.
そのオープニングに際してですね、
You need both swords for the
Yeah.
opening ceremony.
いやもうクリッカーいらないからさ。
Ah, okay.
Are either of us going to Tokyo? Man, no way.
今回ロンドンのファンフェス、ここから開幕していきますが、とてもスペシャルなゲストにお越しいただいております。
All right, but before we move to the opening ceremony, I first need to summon a very, very important guest here with us for FanFest.
ファイナルファンタジーシリーズの生みの親、
The father of Final Fantasy,
ヒロノブ坂口。
Hey, all right, Sakaguchi.
Thank you. ありがとうございます。いやーもう
That's nice.
14プレイ始めてくださって2年以上ですよね。もうガチで。
So it's been about 2 years since you started Final Fantasy 14?
Oh yeah, hardcore.
ここみんな非課線なんですよね。
So everybody here is a warrior of light?
Warrior right?
すみません、仲間です。
Yeah, I am one of
仲間です。
you.
まだ2年のちょっと新人ですけど仲間です。
Although I've only been playing for 2 years, I'm rather new to the scene.
もう毎日ほぼインして14が僕の生活の 30% ぐらいを占めている。もう本当に14万歳。
So I've been logging in every day, and I think it takes up about a third of my life, basically. So I just love 14.
いや
まあぜひ今日から2日間皆さんとのミート&グリートもありますし、今日明日ステージにも、特別コーナー
はい
ご用意してますので、
はい、
ぜひですね最後までプレイヤーのもう本当光の戦士として来たっておっしゃってましたんで。
Sakaguchi-san will be here with us for the next 2 days for stages, for signing sessions. So if you see him, please, sir, to make you say hello because he's one of us.
あ、今日はね一つお礼を言いたくて。
Oh, there's one thing I wanted to mention.
I was
wanted
like,
to
please
show
be
my
making another Final
gratitude
Fantasy.
to
Okay.
Yoshina-san.
カッパありがとうございます。
Thank you for that imp costume.
もうカッパ最高でございます。
I love that outfit. Thank you so much for that.
カッパのコスプレ作りましょうか。
So do we need to make some cosplay for you for that?
やりましょうか。
Yes, please.
じゃあ改めまして、光の戦士の皆さん、放送見てる皆さんにも一言何かご挨拶お願
All
い
right,
します。
so do you have a message for us here as well as everyone watching on the stream?
もう本当に世界中の方が見てらっしゃる。
見てらっしゃいます。はい。
Everybody around the world is watching, huh?
カッパありがとう。
Thank you for the kappa imp outfit.
まあ本当にこれだけ大勢の人でもちろん見てる方、まあそういうみんなとその14の中で出会えて一緒に冒険できるっていう本当にこの素晴らしい場所だと思うので14は本当になんだろう心から感謝したいと思います。本当にこれからもみんなで冒険しましょう。本当にありがとうございます。
And so there's so many people watching here as well as on the live stream, and it's just amazing to think how we can meet with each other in Final Fantasy XIV and go on our adventure together. It's such a wonderful place, this Final Fantasy XIV. So I really want to show my gratitude from the bottom of my heart. I would love to continue on this journey with you all.
さあではこれから2日間皆さん盛り上がっていきますので、ここからは開発チーム運営チームのみんなも登場してオープニングセレモニーに移っていきたいと思います。
All right, so let's have a great 2 days. And to help us, let us welcome to the stage our development and operations team.
All right, I think that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it because that's, obviously opening ceremonies, guys. Y'all can go and check out if you guys want to go hang out for the opening ceremonies. It's a lot of introductions. We've covered that before. And obviously if you're there live, it's very exciting, but that's the announcements. That's the news. I know Chris and I are pretty tired because it's pretty early, but Chris, would you pick 2 to 3? Like what are your 2 to 3 best takeaways from what we saw today?
Surprised they went with the melee job reveal first.
Yeah.
I think that, there's a whole bunch here that's just a reminder that a lot of the things are just going to continually be an ongoing thing, as such as core content, the graphics update, like all of that just feels like if you've been along for every announcement, it all just feels iteratively like there's no like wow moment, but that's part of the strength of 14 is that like iterative, reveal back to back to back.
Yeah.
And then the limited job, I think, has to be the third one. Like the fact that we're getting another limited job after so long of asking, like, is Blue Mage a stand? You call it a limited job, but right now the word limited job and Blue Mage are interchangeable.
Right,
because
exactly.
There's only one.
There's only one.
So to know like what a limited job is, you need to give me a different class that breaks the core rules in its own new and unique way. And so, you know, there was a lot of stuff today that like we think female Roth are coming. We know that another limited job is coming. We know there's another class reveal. There's a lot that's being kicked off to Tokyo Fan Fest because there's only one more. So
that's going to be pretty significant. And then that's also going to follow the Xbox beta, which I started to like think that they were saying that the Xbox version launches with Dawn Trail. So that's something that's going to be interesting, despite their original announcement where Xbox, you know, launching this spring. So I don't know if that was a
there's testing, right? So like just like PS5, like the official version didn't come out right away, but there were people playing on it full time, completely stably. So I don't know.
Yeah, the highest was the Vanadil announcement, followed by the limited job, and just the surprise was that they went with Viper over the caster. But like you know, we're not the melee guys. Like,
That's gonna be great.
Yeah, it's like I'm happy for
it. Be great.
Yeah, so I'm more excited now for the Japanese Fan Fest for what that then would be reveals, because we will get 2 job reveals. We'll get whatever the caster is, and no like real new hints were provided. So you're still looking at the TMNT, shirt to kind of drive that. And then the limited job, what that is, and whether like that, you know, obviously people shouting Beastmaster, Puppet Master. That's what they had teased originally when they announced it. So it's good to see them continue that, and then going from there. The down, like if I was going to pick one just thing that they just spent way too much time on, was the graphical update piece of it, because I thought they showed off more detail last time.
We're continuing to iterate. That was it.
Yeah, and they went into a lot of detail. I'm sure there's somebody out there that was like, that was okay. Yes, this has been something I've been wanting. And I'm like, cool. Like I think that could have been like 90 seconds and then moving on. But Sakaguchi being there, I think is also pretty exciting. The dream would be that he would come out on stage and be like, and, you know, like as I'm, my older age, I'd like to make one more Final Fantasy game. And they like announce like a sprite based 2D, Sakaguchi or, driven game. I don't know. That would have been sweet. Right. But the Vanadil thing is truly, truly exciting. And it's a part of they say the Alliance raid, but like it would be really interesting to see if it's like you could step into those zones. So there's a little bit of question about what that is. And it looks like you're falling asleep on me. So
I am.
All right.
Let's here in Virginia. I am me and Brian's brother were roommates in college, and there was a third roommate, and he's getting married this weekend. And so I am out here. And there were events all day yesterday, and there were events all day tomorrow, and today now, and then there are events all day Sunday.
Yeah.
And so it's just back to back. So
let's let you get some rest. Let's let you have some fun. And thanks everybody for joining us for the live. If you're watching this as a VOD, sound off in the comments. It's a great way of supporting these archived videos and whatnot. And we'll see you guys here in this next week. There'll be lots to talk about, lots to break down. And thanks so much for being here, guys. All right, we're going to wrap up, and we will see you guys next time.